Yo. What's going on? We are bike. What's going on? I got a new shirt. Really excited about my new shirt. Hope y'all like it. It says, say their names, Black Lives Matter, just in case you're wondering what time it is over here. We are still representing. The grind still continues. The marathon still continues. No matter how far we get away from the day that 8 minutes and 46 seconds happened. No matter how far we get away from, we're not quitting. We're not giving up. Black lives still matter. I'm going to start that off. I'm going to start off today's show by just saying that. Black lives still matter. We still here for it. We still here for it. All right? But tonight we'll get into some real good topics. We got toxic or not tonight. I'm going to give y'all a couple minutes to get in here. Thank you everybody who's been in on our feed. We have been, I had the, my little backdrop on. I see Erica Cokley's in the background, so she's ready to go. I'm waiting for the rest of my panelists to get in for the first panel. It's going to be a dope show tonight. I'm excited. I'm going to go ahead and share this out. The first panel starts at 7:10, so we got a few minutes just to share this out. What's going on, Jumbo? Rajia Mujahid. I hope that's right. I see you, Mahid. I see you, Pastor Dixon was in there. All right, what's going on? How you doing? Shamiki, what's going on? Shamika, what's going on? I believe my mom was in here at some point. What's going on? Say hi. Say hello to me because it's important. Y'all know during the show I can't talk to y'all, so go ahead and tell me hi now. What's going on? Yes, our blackness matters. Definitely. We're gonna get into some really good topics tonight. We got a lot to discuss. But I'm really excited about tonight's guests. Tonight's panels are gonna be really great. We got a few returning guests. Hey mom, hey baby. We got a few returning guests and we have some new guests. So y'all know how it gets lit. Y'all know how we do it here at Toxic or Nah. I'm excited that the ladies are starting to get involved in Toxic or Nah. This is a platform that I created for men, but I love it when the ladies step up and say, "Hey, I want to be in that. I want to jump in the arena with the Tigers. I want to jump in the den with the Lions and hold their own." You know what I mean? Because they do. Because the ladies do that. The ladies hold their own all the time. So we definitely have some ladies that's gonna represent tonight. We got Erica Cokley. We got my sister Sharea Washington's gonna be on. Returning guests, both of them. Last time Erica had some technical difficulties, so we're gonna go ahead and claim it in the name of Jesus that she ain't gonna have no problems tonight. I'm gonna go ahead and take off my green screen because this is gonna annoy me if it starts acting up. Last time I was mad glitchy, and I did not like that, so I'm gonna go ahead and take off the green screen. My background, I'm gonna just have to be ReZsaun without the background tonight. Take it back to the old school. Hopefully y'all can see me all right. I'm trying to close out all these other things. Thank y'all for coming in. We're about to get started in about 1 minute. Thank y'all so much for joining. Right, cool. Green screen gone. All right. I did not upload my intro. Gotta upload the intro. You need that. You need the intro. Huh? Let me upload my intro, then we're gonna get rolling. I see Charvis, I see Lamar. What's going on, bros? See y'all in the background. We about to go. We about to do it. Where my intros? Where is my intro? Where is my super suit, woman? Those who have children know what that's from. The great movie, The Incredibles. If y'all don't know about The Incredibles, I'm gonna need you to get all your life together, because The Incredibles is one of the greatest movies of all time. That's a nuts comment. The Incredibles is one of the greatest movies of all time, but it is though. I didn't like the second edition as much as the first one, but I definitely enjoyed it. Next time we do this, I'm gonna have a special Toxic or Nah intro too. We'll have 4 episodes in. Oh, you acting. Okay, let's just go.
I knew that was something I needed to have.
All right, like in Lamar, which is my book.
Clearing a house of information.
None other than one of those very heroes. So, for those who don't know, I'd like for you to take a couple minutes. Are you originally from the Charleston area?
And a youth in South Carolina.
Hey, well, my name's Alex.
The team is when the Emmanuel seek to spread love and.
Hello, world, and welcome back to Real Talk with ReZsaun, when nothing's off limits. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, and I appreciate that. I am your host, ReZsaun Lewis. Now, here on Real Talk with ReZsaun, everything's debatable, so on any given week, we can be discussing anything from sports to music to politics. I am your host. We bike. Toxic or Nah, listen, y'all. I always have to explain this to people that Toxic or Nah came from the idea that there are so many topics and so many things that are being talked about pertaining black men, but do not involve black men in the discussion. So I wanted to create a platform where black men and women could feel welcome to come on here and talk about these topics without being judged, without being ridiculed, without being told, no, you don't feel the way you feel, no, you don't think the way you think, because we are who we are. We are not a monolith. We don't think one way. So I brought in people from all walks of life, people from different backgrounds, people from different mindsets to be a part of tonight's show. And tonight, it's going down. Let me go ahead and bring in my panelists for the evening. First of all, we got Miss Erica Cokley. Thank you so much for joining me, ma'am. Can we hear you? Can you hear me?
Hi, can you hear me?
All right. Yes, I hear you. Yes, ma'am. All right. We got my brother. Yes, we can hear you. We got my brother Lamar Moorehead. What's going on, brother?
What's going on, Chuck Time? What's going on?
All right. My brother Charvis Wood is in the building. What up, Charvis?
Rez.
You on mute.
What's going on, Rez?
What's up, bro? And Michael, better said than sorry, is in the building. What's up with the Brandon hat? I see you.
Hey, what's up, brother, man? Glad to be back on the show. I'm loving what we're doing.
Already, man. Listen, man. Tonight, we're going to get right into it, man. I want to thank y'all so much for joining me. Everybody, if you are watching tonight's show, please go ahead and share it out and let the people know Toxic or Nah is bike. Let me go ahead and share my all right, we got a banner going. All right, cool. We got the banner going. So what we're going to do is take some time. Everybody, please share this video out. Share, because we're going to get into it tonight. We're talking about interracial dating. We're talking about domestic violence. We're talking about cheating in relationships. We're talking about the election. And we're talking about the WAP video. Yep, we're going to talk about that too. We're going to get into a whole lot of stuff tonight. It's going down. But let's start with the introductions. Of course, Erica goes away as soon as I want her to talk. Of course, let's go to Lamar. Introduce yourself to the audience, brother.
Hello, everybody. What's going on? What's going on? First of all, thanks, ReZsaun, for having me on board, man. Love what you're doing, brother. Represent that Chucktown. I'm no longer in the Chucktown. I'm now in South Florida, so I'm down here where the COVID is hot at, brother. But I lived in Charleston, grew up in Charleston, graduated from Garrett Academy of Technology High School. What's up, Falcons? All my CSU Buccaneers, Charleston Southern University. What's going on? Graduated from there. And all my brothers are the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. What's going on, bro? I'm here.
All right. Rep your squads. I see you. Charvis, coming to you, bro.
Oh man, I'm Charvis Wood, man. Raised down here in North Charleston. Born in New York, upstate New York. Local business owner, full-time entrepreneur. Thank the Lord. Big up to you, ReZsaun, for continuously providing a platform where men and women can come together and share in helpful dialogue. So good luck.
Yeah, man. Thank you. And Michael better said than sorry. Hit him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Well, born and raised in Baltimore City, Maryland. Got down here in 06. Been in Ladson ever since. Definitely, of course, on my activism. Father of 3 kids and a lovely Monet. And, I'm back to doing what I do.
All right. Good stuff. And I know Erica was in here and then she went. Now she's out. But Erica, listen. Erica, man, listen. I don't know if the Lord is just trying to tell you something, like, or maybe you just got a message too big and profound for this here platform. But man, the enemy be messing with you on this. They messing with you. But with that being said, let's get right to the topics, y'all. I'm hopefully Erica will be able to get back in. I hope she don't have any issues. Thinking about who's watching, I really appreciate it. It's thundering and lightning here in Somerville. So if y'all hear thunder and lightning, my family is not having a domestic violence war. It's just thundering and lightning outside. We do not advocate for domestic violence. With that being said, let's start right there. Let's start with domestic violence. That's actually our first topic of the evening. All right, domestic violence. So I guess I'll start with this because right at this point it's all black men in the room. Erica's gonna come back, so she's definitely gonna represent for the ladies. But I wanna get pretty much, and I want to make sure, just so we make sure we get around, let's try to keep all answers like under 2 minutes. But let's talk about domestic violence. What is your experience? What is your experience with domestic violence in your life? Feel free to address that from any standpoint that you'd like to. Who wants to take it first?
I'll hop in.
Go ahead.
Domestic violence is definitely an unfortunate thing. I think kind of what goes a little overlooked is men actually being violated, because the way society kind of puts a stigma on things, we're not looked at as to be ones that can be violated by a woman. So but that happens actually more than people think. So I'll start there, guys.
All right. Okay, cool. I like it. Lamar.
Hey man, I totally agree. My background, I've been working with kids since I was a kid. So, I work with different kids in different walks of life, and some of them grew up in some very abusive households. I worked in group homes, mentoring and youth development and domestic violence, even here where I'm at now, working in a youth program right now. I mean, COVID left some of the kids I work with homeless, and some of them had altercations with other parents, step parents, whatever, man. So it's a real issue that needs to be addressed right now, man.
All right. Michael?
Yeah, I mean, I can actually speak to this personally, man. Like I said, prior, I would say, 10 years ago, my marriage, it was a domestic violence altercation to which I was actually the victim in the situation. And it's one of those things where as you're raised, like, man, don't hit a woman, don't hit the female. And so I'm walking away and everything. And at the time, our son was present. So, and it's especially being in the South, it's big, not only from a domestic violence standpoint, but if children are present, a lot of people don't know that it is automatically escalated to a second degree, right?
Wow.
So it's no longer in the sense of the misdemeanor. It actually led toward me getting custody of my son. In regards to, like, she ended up going to jail, and I ended up had to go to court and everything like that. But that played a huge part in our custody battle, to which, like I said, she pretty much committed criminal domestic violence.
Wow. I want to talk about about the culture of domestic violence and especially in the Black community. Let's really talk about it. I mean, I know we all have families and things of that nature, but I'm hoping we'll be able to be a little transparent here in this opportunity because it is something that has been prevalent, especially. And I always say I don't know a whole lot about the white community or the Hispanic community or the Asian community. When I talk about us, I'm talking about Black people. So when I'm talking to Black people, I talk about Black people stuff. So in the Black community, domestic violence has definitely been a part of what we've seen. Do you guys have any experiences of witnessing domestic violence in your homes growing up?
Yeah, I can speak to that. I've witnessed that, several times. Just again, like I said, being transparent. I remember on my 7th birthday, my mom and her, her significant other got into it, whereby he threw a bike on her and cracked her leg open.
Wow.
So I seen it firsthand. But the sad thing about that is females still stay with their abuser. And I don't know what that's all about, but it's some sort of dependency, I believe, that kind of goes with that. But yeah, man, it's big.
Yeah. Anybody else want to share personal stories within your family growing up? Anybody see anything?
Yeah, honestly, I can share definitely with that.
Yeah.
I mean, coming back from my mom and my biological dad, I've watched them like engage in a domestic violence situation to which my dad actually put his hands on my mom, and I was younger. I must have been about like 6 or 7 to the point that I say about 7 or 8 that I understood what was going on, but physically I was just like too small to even do anything. I watched it for several times, to which my mom finally left, and then it's to the point that it sucks because you witness or you watching somebody that you would have thought or expected to be a role model in the sense, of course, from a parent standpoint. You're like, man, they're going at it, and they're going at it from a stand that, I mean, if you watch cartoons, like, hey, that's violence, right?
Yes.
So it weighs in because now you're thinking about, is it something that you did as a child? Is it something that they're arguing that really pertains about you, and you really don't know how to fill in the void for those questions with the right answers?
Yeah. Lamar?
I can go to the date October 31st, 1989, when my parents had their final spat together in the house with me and my brother right there. And man, knockout, drag out, just straight, pushing back and forth, threats made, and then my dad just finally got smart and left. But it is rough, like he said, like Mike said, when you're there and you're there to witness it firsthand, and you're like, what do? You don't want to take sides. These both your parents, you love them both. It's kind of a conundrum, especially for kids to be a witness to all that going on in the household.
Word. Yeah, I mean, I can definitely, I'm gonna hop in, right there. And I believe in transparency because I believe that healing comes with transparency. I definitely witnessed domestic violence, on my mom's side. My mom and my father were not together. I've never seen my mom hit my dad hit my mom hit my dad, but I did see in their individual relationships domestic violence situations. I've seen men hit my mom. See my mom hit men. I've seen my dad hit women. And that's something that when you see that as a child is something that definitely has an impact on you, especially when you're a man and you don't understand when you're a kid and you don't understand one, you don't understand why that's happened. You can't really process why is mommy fighting this person, why is daddy doing that to my stepmom. Like you don't know how to process it. And I think that I remember I interviewed my father before he passed. My dad passed 2 years ago today, and I remember before he passed, we talked about his childhood, and he talked about the way that my grandfather used to beat my grandmother. And he was like, remember, he said, he's like, you remember how I used to give you spankings, beating you stuff when you were younger? It's like, yeah. He's like, well, I used to do my dad used to do a whole lot worse than that to us, and my mom got it even worse than us. And I was like, wow, like I never knew that. It wasn't until I actually were able to sit down with my dad and have that conversation that I was able to even know that was a thing that generationally was happening. And let's think about the fact that, you know, that's something that was really instilled in us from, you know, from that slavery mindset where it's like you beat somebody to make them do better. Right. You beat somebody to make them do better. So if my wife, you know, my wife isn't cooking the way I want her to cook, then I beat her. If you know, like that, this is something. These are things, and it's something that is bled into, you know, our younger black men. And it's something that, you know, I like. Though if I don't instill one value in my son, it's that you don't hit women. You know, my son has 4 sisters. My son has 4 sisters. You know, I was telling him, okay, cool. Whatever it is that they're doing, you try to walk away. You walk away, you find me. You walk away, you tell your mom. You walk away and you're an adult, you walk away, you call the police. Remove yourself from the situation, but do not put your hand on that woman. Because there's nothing that you're going to tell me outside of, like, if I didn't get her off me, like, if you get her off you, that's one thing. But to batter, to ball your fist up and hit a woman as a man, that is one of the most despicable things to me that one can do.
But see,
chime in.
What I think it's crazy because it wasn't until I got to Normandy too, and I had a physical altercation with a female. Up until that point, I thought that that's what was expected. You know, I thought that's what was supposed to happen because up until that point, no one really spoke about it, like saying like that's not what should be going on.
Yeah.
However, that's all I was witnessing. So I thought that that's what needed to be going on. It wasn't until honestly I got into a situation in Officer Palmer. I'll never forget it. He had a sit down with me, and he kind of it was him and Mr. Tulloch. They got together with me, and they was like, "Hey, that's not the way it should be."
Yeah.
But up until that point in middle school, I had no clue.
Right, but that comes back to what are we doing to engage our next generation of young men and making sure that we're breaking that cycle. You know, I see you got your DGC shirt on, and you know I love that. I had to shout out to DGC, Low Country Youth Services. But it's so important that what we do, all of us on this call right now, we mentor in some way, shape, form, or fashion. It's so important that when we see these things in our young men, even before we see them, we need to be having these talks. Just like you said, Charvis, nobody told you that this was something you're supposed to do. And if you grow up in a house, I think about my father. Again, I come back to my father. If you raise up in a house and you see that that's how your dad deals with conflict, that's how you see when your dad deals with drama, you think like they didn't have social media to tell you it's wrong. They didn't have, you know, like the only people you know are the people that you grew up with. So that was considered normal behavior. Very good, Nicole. It was considered normal behavior. Michael, I see you. Go ahead.
But see, like a big thing around domestic violence that is understanding or educating yourself on domestic violence. To be quite honest, a lot of times it's been normalized, right? A lot of people like to say or believe or may assume that domestic violence is just somebody punching you or kicking you. Domestic violence can honestly just be the restraint or the physical touching of someone or your squad or your partner or your spouse, and it's holding them against their will. That can easily be interpreted as domestic violence as much as the 3rd degree, right?
Yeah.
So you'll see like men, right, getting pushed or slapped or scratched by their significant other or their spouse. That's domestic violence.
It is.
You didn't get punched in the face or something doesn't mean that it's not domestic violence.
Agreed.
So the idea initially is understanding what it is, so you can like spread that knowledge, or you even become more informed about that particular circumstance or situation.
Yeah, we have to establish a baseline. We as the men have to do that though, right? We as the men have to establish with our sons, not okay. Also, we have to establish that if she's putting her hands on you, that's also not okay. So the same thing when I'm telling my son, you don't hit your sisters. I also tell my daughters, listen, don't put your hands on people. You better be careful with your hands. One, because everybody don't got the same mentality that your dad has. Your dad has been through stuff where I've been in situations where I'm driving my car and I'm being hit by a woman. Right? I've been in that situation where I'm driving and I have people's life in my hands because they're in the car with me. My brother's in the car with me and I'm being hit, right? I did you got to do, like, in those situations, you do everything you can to survive the encounter. Just like they tell us to deal with the police. Survive the encounter. I pulled my car over. I got out the car with the keys and I started walking. And I said, if we can't ride in this car without putting our hands on each other, I'm not driving. I will walk home first. From Ravenel.
Wow.
But that's what I had to do. But that's the kind of things we have to be talking to our young men and women about right now. They can't learn about how to deal with domestic violence when they're experiencing domestic violence. We got to talk to them about it way beforehand. One thing that we do with the Singles Gentlemen's Club is we talk to our young men about healthy relationships. What is that? What does that healthy relationship look like? I'm gonna give y'all a resource. If you go to www.loveisrespect.org, it has so much great information about teen dating violence. What is healthy behaviors within a relationship? And it gives you stuff to look for. It's something I remember we did a workshop, and I'm sorry, I'm talking too much, but we did a workshop in February, the Huddle Up for Healthy Relationships workshop. And we were talking about this stuff. And I remember I looked to the side of the room and there was this full-grown woman boo-hoo crying. This was an adult, this was an event for kids. This grown woman was boo-hoo crying because the stuff that we were trying to teach teenagers, she didn't know.
So can I ask Michael a question? Not more so just because you're a man, but I'll just say because at one point in time you were a victim and you survived that, right?
Yeah.
How is it like when that happened, outside of the person that you was in that situation with, like, did you seek help after that, like to deal with that, to get past that mindset?
I had a lot of close friends at the time around me. The biggest thing, honestly, especially coming from where I came from, was the fact that I was already a parent. You know, so it's almost like when you're already a father, it's even being the victim, you're looking at it as if, what's my child first, right? Like, what if my son's seeing this? Or how is my son going to be affected? Because I felt like, me personally, as someone that was always raised to be independent, like, I'll get through it, some form of fashion. But the biggest thing was just like, what do I need to do now to make sure that my son doesn't believe that he's at fault, or my son doesn't say that his mommy and daddy, they hate each other, or he doesn't spread what he's seen to somebody else, right? So for me, it was about communication with my, like, close family and friends. But like I said, the bigger picture is like, how am I now going to get past this for my son? Right? What did I say? Well, mom, where's mom? Or why is mommy not around? Or I saw this happen. It's like, how do I explain that to a child? All right. So that was the biggest. That was the biggest light for me.
Wow. Yeah, that's a great point. Lamar, I see you. What's up?
Man, you guys are making some great points, man. And I have a daughter too who's now going to high school this year, man, and I have a 1-year-old son, and just luckily for me, like Michael said, you have to have some good people around you. You got to have some good mentorship, man. And luckily, what I'm saying, I'm a product of the Bold Fairchild Youth Leadership Council. What's going on, and also a previous vice president and mentor and elder myself. And man, that's one of the conversations, like you said, ReZsaun, we have them too, man. And we talk about, but we break it down to the point when we talk about how Willie Lynch's How to Make a Slave applies to that whole mentality of, we feel like we got to beat somebody for them to comply with our directive. Yeah. And I think in our community, we still have that mentality. Even when I talked to my dad, I remember he told me he got a whooping when he was 18 with an extension cord because he wouldn't give my grandmother his check. And that kind of beating, I'm like, you still got the marks on your leg, Dad. You 52 years old. Wow. So the abuse that we went through as a people is still ingrained in us, because all we learned was how to teach each other to comply with what Master taught us. And we as a culture have to get away from that. We got to beat you first for you to understand, kind of thing. Even with the culture now, with the kids watching World Star and all that stuff, it's a common thing. Oh man, she put her hands on, he beat her tail. Like, it's not cool. I'm real quick to tell the kids I'm watching, they watching little videos on their phone. I'm like, look, man, that's not cool. Like, yeah, I saw her put her hands on him, but he should have walked away. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, ReZsaun, we got to have that talk with these young men and tell them, look, man, it's not worth it. Walk away. Walk away.
But you know what else too, though? honestly, I think it's like there's like another component, like because a lot of times when folks think of domestic violence, a lot of time there's a connotation of physical abuse, but there's it could be lording over somebody because you're the one that brings the finances in the home,
Right.
or verbally just assaulting somebody. So those are other types of domestic violence that really can cut just as hard, just as deep as the physical.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. If you talk to people who are victims of domestic violence who stay, because I know you mentioned that earlier, like the idea that some people, they are victims of domestic violence and they don't leave. Well, a large part of domestic violence is control. It's the control.
Power.
I know that if I beat you, chances are a lot of times when women are being domestically violated, especially especially women. This doesn't apply as much to men, but to women especially. There's usually a situation where they've been already isolated from the rest of their family, so you don't have anywhere that you can go. You don't have the financial resources to be able to handle yourself. You don't have the you don't want to uproot the kids, or you don't want people to know your business. There's a pride aspect to it. There's so many things that women experience. There's a person in my life who's, I don't want to put their name out there, but they are victims of domestic violence right now. Like right now, I know for a fact that they are victims of domestic violence continually. And we continue, I always wonder, why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? You have the opportunity to leave. But what I don't understand is the control aspect of it. There are certain levels of control. If you genuinely in your heart believe that this person I'm with, when I'm with them, they will beat me. But if I leave them, they will kill me.
Right. And I think also too, ReZsaun, when I've worked with some women in crisis homes, a lot of them are more fearful for what would happen to their children if they did leave. And those guys might have made a threat to say, hey, if you go ahead and leave me, your kids might not be safe, even though they're his kids too.
Yeah.
Because there's been some happenings here in Florida. We had a guy come home, man, and do some horrible things to the family, including her after he did something to the kids, man. And it's like, what gets you to that point? But still, that's another factor that she might be thinking in the back of her mind. If he beats me like this, what if I leave him with the kids? Is he gonna beat them because I'm not here? So some women I've heard say they take the beating so the kids don't get the beating. So it's a matter of, are we going to protect our kids? Yeah, I can take the beating, but I know my 3-year-old can't. You know what I'm saying? So kind of like, does she feel that she needs to protect them in some kind of way too?
We got a question for Shakim Amin Aket. Shout out to my bro, man. He said he said, do any of you advocate for women to purchase a firearm and shoot? I'll let y'all go. I'll go in last.
No, not at all. Not at all. To be quite honest, man, because first and foremost, being a prior military cop, you don't want to shoot under an emotion. You don't want to, because at this point you have someone's life in your hand. If you're shooting it, you have to be of sound mind and body, right? You could get to the extremes that in an argument, right? And you may have been battered in a prior conversation. You're like, rather than this happening again, I'm just going to shoot him before it even gets there. And now you're not. Now you've now put on the toll of murder, right? Yeah. Because now it's premeditated. I got the weapon. I know that if we got in this kind of confrontation, even if we didn't get to the violence, I'm going to shoot him. Yeah. Right now, you've jeopardized yourself, your children, your family, and so forth. So I wouldn't.
I don't know. I have to respectfully disagree. I think that women should do that, right? Because let's say, for the sake of this conversation, Mike, you and Sally got into a situation, and you was the abuser, and that's been going on for a year or two, and then she finally leaves you, get the strength to leave you. At some point, she need to get that, because it's gonna be hard for her afterwards to move on. So she may get that as a peace of mind, so she can feel comfortable sleeping in her house and so forth and so on, or going to the grocery store. And unfortunately, if she gets into that situation again, she'll be prepared. Also, that guy may think twice about putting his hand on her when he see that she has the steel.
But that falls into PTSD.
Yeah.
That's what you're talking about is post-traumatic stress, and then you're putting the gun in the hand of somebody that's already has encountered a disorder that's been mentally, physically, and emotionally battering. I mean, me personally, like I said, I'm not against protecting yourself, but what I'm saying is that you must make sure that you have a sound mind and body if you're going to go to the extremes. Because when you're shooting, I mean, you could even if you're aiming at the leg, you could potentially hit an artery. Yeah. Right. So, and once that happens, you cannot say then, I wish I would have directed the bullet to hit his foot, right, instead of the vein or something like that. So I mean, that's just me personally. Like I said, like how you just said, as far as if you're going through this for a year, if you are going through that type of situation for a year and you now have decided to stay, but I'll stay because I have a gun, now we have two problems. Because
that's where that's where I was going to go. That's exactly where I was going to go with it. Before I am a registered firearm owner. I am not in a domestically violent situation. If there was a domestic violence situation, I would feel much more terrified. Like the person that I'm talking about, if they told me they went and bought a gun, that would scare me. Because chances are, if she has a gun, he knows she has a gun. Which means we've just escalated that situation way beforehand. Tenfold. So that means the chances of her being killed just doubled to me.
Yeah, I have to agree with you on that one, ReZsaun.
If it's a separation, if you separate and you say, I'm going to get a gun to make sure that if he pulls up on me at the gas station, I can protect myself, that's a totally different thing. Yeah. I got a gun in my house to make sure, like, my gun is in my house. My gun doesn't leave my house. Because my thing is, whatever you do to me in the street, I'm in the street. I'm like, that's whatever. But if you come to my house, you're trying to hurt my family. Like, you may try to hurt my family, and I got to protect my family. Me, I don't worry a whole lot about me. I'm pretty good in these here streets. But them, they can't defend themselves like that. So at my house, we do have a registered firearm. So please believe, if you try to rob me, you gonna have some problems. But if there was a situation where there was violence in our home, I would feel much less secure with the fact that there was a weapon in our home. And I want to stop right there because I want to get to our next topic. This is a great topic. I want to end with this right here, with this topic, with this right here. I often hear people talk about the fact that they say, well, stop telling women to leave men who beat them and start telling men not to beat them. I promise you, if I know of a man who's beating a woman, I've told that man to stop beating that woman. I've told that man I don't respect the fact that he beats that woman. I've told that man that we've done that. But at some point, we got to make choices. And even if that means that I'm not going to go there. Anyway, next topic. Hopefully y'all enjoying this. This is Toxic or Nah. This is Toxic or Nah, episode 4. We do this once a month, the third Saturday of every month. We doing this. We have our special guest, panelists. We have Lamar Moorehead, we have Charvis Wood, and we have Michael Better Than Said. Next topic we're going to talk about is cheating in relationships. Right? It's now 7:37. We have until 7:50 on this, so that gives us about 13 minutes to really go in on this one here. So cheating in relationships. I'm gonna let y'all run with it. Who wants to start?
Lamar.
Man, look, I'm gonna be honest and very transparent here, man. It's not worth it. I'm gonna be honest with you fellas, man. As a guy who's been there, had that situation happen, I was the perpetrator. Yes, me. So,
see, now we talking. Now we podding.
See, yeah.
Now we podding.
I'm gonna keep it 100. Let's go. And the thing is, man, instead of me doing all that, man, and even going there, man, I should just told him it wasn't working out. I think it was just a point of, I was comfortable. I was used to them. I didn't feel like going back out there trying to find something else and do that whole dating thing again and everything else, man. But just let it go. If it's not what you're vibing with, if it's not the right person, if it's not really working, if you two are arguing every day, every time you wake up, you dread coming home, it's not a good look, man. Just leave them alone. Sometimes the song say it's cheaper to keep it, but sometimes it's better to let it go.
I just want to pause right here to show y'all this comment that one Stella Williams put up.
Yeah, I see that, right?
You want to go? You want to go there first of all? Didn't what's my man name? Lil Rel?
Lil Duval?
Lil Duval say black men don't cheat. Duval's told you black men don't cheat, and I do want to. Before I get to it, I'm gonna let them roll. But we gonna talk about this all men cheat idea. Go ahead. Who wants to go next? Mike, Charvis.
So the only thing I would say is that cheating is it's funny because, well, not funny, but you know, I think it boils down to having those conversations in the beginning, right? Of your relationship, as far as understanding and having an expectation to understand what you can expect, right? Because once the honeymoon stage goes, that's when the rubber meets the road. So you're gonna have those good times and then bad times, and it could be a thing of sex, you know, either not getting it, or it could be a thing of I hate to say it, but sometimes you know, women make more money sometimes than men, and you know, for whatever reason it could be, you know, a man does it. Some would call it the 80-20 rule, right? I'm not advocating for it, nothing like that, but some people feel like they're justified because they're missing that one component from home.
Yeah.
And their partner, whether it's just a girlfriend or a wife, they just are not willing to compromise or see the other side of the coin. So again, I'm not justifying it. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm just trying to explain it, you know, to some degree.
All right, Mike.
So the thing for me is that we're so quick to identify cheating as the physical. You know what I'm saying? Like cheating can be identified immediately if you're doing something in the eyes of one person that you won't do in the eyes of your spouse or your partner and so forth, right? Cheating can be being engaged. And I've been the person of this, to where as though engaging in conversation, right? Like this stimulating the mind, but would I stimulate my mind in that same manner if my partner was there? And if I can't say that I would, then essentially I'm cheating, not even if it's the physical. I mean, you could, if you walk away from any circumstance and you're like, man, like, good thing that my girlfriend, it's a good thing that my boyfriend didn't see me, then essentially you're cheating, right? So that's where we have to identify first, right? I mean, because like I said, I mean, you can cheat on social media, right? Like, you don't even have to meet the person. You could be essentially cheating by engaging in a flirtatious conversation that goes back and forth. You know, that's cheating. So for what I look at though is that what's derivative from it? What sprouts from it? Is it the idea that the man is just who he is? He's not ready, or even I just say, man, that person they're just not ready for a relationship. They enjoy the idea of having company or having more than one, or is it the idea that the communication is lacking in the relationship, or you know, or like I need more attention, and they don't know how to communicate that to that person. Me personally, what I like to do, and what we are doing now, me and my girlfriend, we go through couples therapy, and that's,
Monet Ellis is watching.
Oh yeah, right. Like she's right. So the big thing though is like to y'all see this is what
she be on, man. I love her. She's dope to me. We gotta do dinner. But go ahead.
Like, so the big thing real quick, man, is like I really encourage the couples therapy portion. Not when you need it, but when you don't need it, before you need it, right? So to identify those things so you don't get to a point that, gosh, she's cheated, or I've cheated, or I'm thinking about it, she's thinking about it. Now we have to put the Band-Aid on the thing. Let's try to prevent the bruise from happening. You know, so that's my take on that.
Yeah, I want to chime right in right there. I think great points, all great points, right? One, Charvis talks about the conversation. You got to have the conversation of expectations. Do I expect that? What do I expect from you? This is something we talked about on last night. We did a pod with Jonathan and Eva Singleton of the Love Life Legacy podcast, which was a great episode if y'all didn't get to watch it. Talking to two married couples, just talking about relationships, talking about being married 10 plus years each. And one thing we talked about was establishing that communication, right? Establishing that communication. What do I expect from you? What constitutes cheating to me? Right? Because what constitutes cheating to one person may not be cheating to another person.
Right.
To one person, if to me, anything, if you're doing anything that you can't do in front of me, it's cheating. Anything that you're doing that you can't do in front of me, if you're having a conversation that you can't have that conversation in front of me, it's cheating. If I walk in a room and you got to get off the phone because I walked in the room, it's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
It is, because that to me is the launching point for everything else. If you're texting somebody, but you delete your text every time you text that person,
Mm-hmm.
you're not doing that because it's on the up and up. You only delete things for two reasons. One, you trying to evade an audit, or you're cheating. And I'm not the IRS.
So let me play devil's advocate for a second, because
Get them.
There are some women, and I might get my head bit off for this, but there are some women that are naturally flirtatious, but I think they've been being that way for so long. It's natural to them, but they're not trying to get with you on that level, right? Now, let's just say, for the sake of this conversation, that person is married to you, Rez.
Come on.
How do you deal with that? Because, like, if that's naturally how she is and who she is,
yeah,
and she don't mean no harm by it.
I got you.
And she's doing it in front of you.
Yeah, but guess what? But guess what? We were dating, right? If we were dating and I realized that while we're dating, this is who she is, I now have a choice to say, this is something I want to continue, or this is something I'm going to walk away from. I have to make that decision for me because I know who this person is. A lot of times dudes marry women being like, oh, she dresses like this. She dressed like that when y'all were dating, bro. When you met her in the club, she was dressed like that.
So let me be devil's advocate as well, because you can't. So what's the gray area or the fine line between flirtatious or being flirtatious and being charismatic, right? Because that's where I guess the communication falls into it. Like, you can't say, well, you were cheating because I felt this way, and it's automatically cheating if the intention is, if someone said, hey, and I said, oh, hey, how we doing? And you didn't like the way I said, hey, how we doing? Oh, you're being flirtatious. No, I wasn't. That's just
communication.
The way I speak.
But that's communication, though. That comes back to when that happens, right? So this is what we call teachable moments in education.
I'm about to be sleeping on the sofa, y'all.
Hey, no, you better not, Monet. He doing good, Monet.
Don't do it to him. Don't do it to him.
So if I'm in a relationship with a young lady, right? I'm in a relationship with a young lady, right? And that first time that interaction happens, and I don't feel good about it, it's my job as the person in the relationship to say, hey, babe, you know, the way that happened, I don't really like that. Mm-hmm. And then she, because we all have choices, she then has the opportunity to say, well, this is who I am, take it or leave it. Or she can say, I respect the fact that you feel that way, and I'll curtail the way I interact to make sure you feel better. But again, we all have choices in relationships. I want to get to a comment from Jonathan. He said, how much is the decision to cheat have to do with the other person, whether it being solely your fault? And we have 3 minutes.
Hey, Lamar, take it away, Lamar. Take it away.
Man, that was my situation right there, brother. Like, you know, and I was at the church with this person, and we still was at the same church and everything else. But, you know, people look at you different when they think you're the one to blame. Like it was just you in the relationship by yourself.
No.
And they don't know what goes on in your household. And they just assuming that you a dog. Not assuming that you and your wife had a communication breakdown or something just wasn't gelling. You two fell out of touch because one of you was working one shift, one of you was working another shift. You come home, you see the kids, you go to sleep. You don't get to talk. You know what I'm saying? So there's a breakdown there too of also the wear and tear, just the grind, ReZsaun. You know what I'm talking about, man. You're just, you know, you don't get time for yourself to breathe as a man. You don't, you can't read, you do nothing but sleep, come home, work, eat, and go to bed and do it all over again. And when you do that, man, you kind of leave yourself in a position where you do not communicate with your spouse or your woman or your man or whatever. And you leave that opportunity for things to start to just digress and it becomes stagnant. And you lose that spark. You know what I'm saying? And that's how I felt. And I'm not gonna lie about it.
Yeah. There's a lot of variables there, though. I mean, so like for example, like I said, for me point blank period, it falls into communication. I am communication first,
Yeah.
right? If
Yeah.
you've made the conscious efforts to touch, to cross every T, dot every I, hey honey, this is how I'm feeling, this is how things are going, this is what we need to be doing, let's try this, let's try that. And they simply have made that same conscious decision not to listen to you. And now you're and granted, cheating regardless on any level is still wrong. But if you made that conscious decision and then you start to sway into the idea of communicating with someone else, I'm not sure if it goes in the idea of saying, oh, I'm venting or I'm spreading that same communication that I'm not getting at home.
Yeah.
Then you can say that, hey man, I've tried this, I've tried that. You just simply haven't been listening. That is some fault of the entire relationship, not just of your own. But if you just was like, dang, I just saw her and she got a nice tail. I like her leg. I'm just gonna talk to her. I mean, then it's you. You mean you got to have to hold your own candle there.
Agreed. Totally. I want to address this comment, brother. OMS. I just put up OMS. OE Williams. He said OE Williams. Shout out to you, man. He said if my girl has a girl talk, that ain't cheating. It ain't that serious. No, of course I'm not talking about that, man. Like if my wife is on the phone with her sister, and she's like, "Hey, babe, I need to talk to my sister without you in the room." Nah, dude. But if she says, "I'm on the phone with this dude that I met at the grocery store today," or this dude that slid into my DMs and he just needs somebody to talk to, and I can't talk to him in front of you, I'm gonna tell y'all a quick story, and we got to end this segment. Quick story. The moment I knew I would marry my wife. When me and my wife first started dating, it was a young lady that I dated dated in high school, right? And I was going through a divorce at the time when me and my wife, got together. And so options are open, you know what I mean? Like, but me and my wife had just started kicking it. Me and my current wife had just started kicking it. And we had a spot. We had a hotel room for the evening. We went to the movies or whatever. And my homegirl calls me, right? A chick that was trying to get back with me or whatever. And the phone rings. I look at the phone and I'm like, oh, okay. She says, answer it. She says, answer it. I said, okay, cool. So I pick it up. I'm on the phone and old girl's talking to me. And my wife literally does this. She takes my head, puts it in her lap, and starts petting my head while I talk on the phone.
Well, damn, player.
I was like, I don't really want to have this conversation. I hope that everything works out really well for you in your life and everything that you are praying and hoping for works out. But we probably not going to talk again. Just being honest. And that was the last time I talked to her. I knew that day. I was going to marry my wife. Shout out to Latoya. She watching. If y'all know my wife, y'all know she's serious. Before we get out of here, I want you guys to plug what you got coming up. I'll start with Lamar. I'm going to end with you, Mike, because I know you got more.
What's going on, y'all, man? Like I said, I'm down here in South Florida, man. I'm actually in the process of getting ready to file for my 501c3 status myself down here. A lot of kids down here. Shout out to my Jamaican and Haitian people, man. They're down here in South Florida. So, I'm about to do some things with these kids around here, man. We need a lot of help down here, man. So I'm trying to get to work.
So if they want to come help, mentor, how do they reach you?
Man, hit me up, man. Lamar Moorehead, just hit me up on Facebook, man. Hit me in the Facebook chat, whatever, man. I'm always, what I'm saying? It don't matter what time I'm up thinking, bro. I'm moving.
Yeah. Love that. All right, Charvis, what you got, B?
Oh, man. Boss Dogs, man. Still getting everything
They do
ready.
birthday parties.
Yeah, we do it all, man. Getting ready to drop this cookbook on everybody, man. I've been cooking this up for a minute. But you feel free to reach out on Facebook, Boss Dogs, BOSSDOGZ.
Yeah. My guy. And if you want to mentor with him, go to www.lowcountryyouth.org and you can meet Charvis and influence mentees at the same dang time. All right, Mike, better than said, what you got?
Yeah, man, better said than sorry. Let me put the head up real quick, man. Better said than sorry. But I got a lot of things going on right now. Of course, I just found out not too long ago that I'm the chairman of the Criminal Justice Reform Committee for the city of Charleston. So we're gonna be having our first meeting. Yeah.
Bye, Mike.
Yeah. So we're gonna be having our first meeting the end of the month. A lot of things are going to be going into that. You're going to see a lot coming from the city council meetings. I'll be putting on the link and everything on my Facebook. Of course, I just got my EIN and my LLC that I just got accomplished this week as well, so I can now produce my clothing line.
Yeah.
I'm not only going to be doing like hats and T-shirts. I'm also looking to create my own sneaker. I'm looking with several different factories right now, so that's going to be big. So of course, if you want to check it out, I'm be coming up with my own website as well. It's going to be better said than sorry. You'll see the links and everything on my Facebook, and I'm also going to have my fan Facebook page as well. So that's pretty much what I got going on for now.
Man, thank you for coming on, man. You guys are dope. Shout out to Monet. Don't make that man sleep on the couch. He's a good person. I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna bring on the next group, fellas. Thank y'all.
All right, man. Thanks, bro.
Hey. All right. Got to get line up 2 going. Line up 2. Listen. Jason turned on the lights for this one.
Yes, sir. We ready.
What's up? What's going on, man?
Brother.
What's up? We got Jason and we got Greg Perry in the building. This is Toxic or Not. Let me reset. This is Toxic or Not, episode 4. What? Oh, there it is. Episode 4. Oh, it's out there. Okay. Episode 4, Toxic or Not, episode 4. This is a panel discussion show where we bring men on and some ladies to talk about issues that impact Black men that are often spoken about without Black men involved. So the point of this whole thing is to provide a voice. One, to show that we disagree sometimes. Sometimes we get into big disagreements, but it's never a disrespectful thing. It's always a love thing. It's always a respect thing. And it's always, how can we better ourselves? How can we learn from our brother's example? So I have 3 brothers on right now. I know more are coming on that I know, I respect, and I love. Let's start with Jason. Please introduce yourself, brother.
Yes, sir. Jason Jones, local activist. Change is Coming. Change is Coming was my original group. Stand as One is who I'm rocking with right now, as well as we've created the United Front for all the leaders in the area. We've been out there grinding every day in the streets, man. Last 3 months, as much as we can be out there. Durham, North Carolina native, not from the Charleston area, but I've been here for about 3 years.
What blue?
Soaking up the culture and just bringing some knowledge to the communities.
Yeah. I love it. And y'all had that big rally last night.
Is that us
talk a little about? I don't know who that is crackling. Is that you, Greg?
Was that me?
Yeah, I think just mute when you're not talking. That way we don't get the crackle thing.
I only hear when you talk.
Oh, you only hear me? All right, go out and come back in.
When you talk.
Oh, I have on headphones. I have on headphones, so it shouldn't do that. Because somebody who doesn't have on headphones, or somebody who doesn't have on headphones.
I don't have my headphones.
Oh, let me see. Let me check something real quick. Do we hear it now? Yeah, Greg, it's you. Go out and come back in. Yeah. All right. Sorry about that. All right, but Jason, y'all had that rally last night. You want to talk a little bit about it?
Yes, sir. Went out last night to represent for the brother P Rock. Philip Rock was assaulted at a bar in West Ashley, Players Place Billiards. They got the original assaulter. The issue at hand right now is that Philip has further evidence that shows that there was a conspiracy between members that worked at the bar, the assaulter's friends, to cover the assault. So basically, when they called in his assault, they called it as an accidental fall over, and he hit his head, and he was out of it, knocked out unconscious. They didn't know he had a dash cam inside his vehicle at the time. Dash cam was live and hot. There's a portion of that footage out there on the web right now. If you check the Stand as One website or Facebook page, check my Facebook page, you'll see that. But there's more to that video, and as it evolves through their court proceedings, I'm sure that portions of that video get released so that the public knows what's going on. But yeah, justice for Philip.
Word. Thank you for sharing that, bro. I want to make sure you had an opportunity and a platform to share that message for sure.
Appreciate it.
We got Digga Jones, you in the building. Go ahead and introduce yourself, bro.
I am Daniel Laurie, aka Digga Jones. I am a podcaster. I am an outreach coordinator for Father to Father, and as always, I'm glad.
Yes, sir. My guy, what's the name of your podcast? You got to tell them. You got to plug, bro.
Okay, it's Digga Jones and Two Gun Tony's news and views. My last episode, believe it or not, actually got the most hits that I've ever gotten. I've gotten over 2,000 listens on that episode, and it featured my sister. So,
Oh, that's the neat episode, the Waffle House story.
yeah, the Waffle House story. Yeah.
Yes, y'all got to check it out to hear the Waffle House story. That was hysterical. All right. G, Greg Perry, please introduce yourself, sir. When you come back. All right, Joseph Bailey, introduce yourself.
How you doing? Hopefully, I'm straight as far as. Can you see me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're great.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I'm Joseph Bailey. I'm the dreamer. I'm born in Charleston, South Carolina, raised up the street in St. Stephen, South Carolina, and been traveling all over the country, built networks in 10 countries, because I'm committed to leading this country to its best days. So just happy to be here. Just a great show, great audience, great resources, relationships. So wherever you want to go with it, I'm here.
Let's
Blessings.
Cook. Yes, sir. Greg, introduce yourself, bro.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Greg Perry. I'm actually a native of North Charleston, South Carolina. I'm also the founder of a nonprofit called Low Country Hope Project. I'm also the communications director for the Low Country Young Democrats here in the Low Country area. And I'm super glad to be on tonight with you guys, you fellas, to talk and have a conversation.
Absolutely. Let's get it, man. So I know some more people are coming in, but we're gonna go ahead and get it started. This segment has, I think it was from 8:55 to 7:30, 7:55 to 8:35, right? All right, cool. So let's cook. So our first topic. Which one am I gonna start with? Let's dive right in, man. Election 2020, right? So here we are. We're here. It is now August. We're into August. The election is September, October, November. So it's we're at 2 months out from the election, right? We're like 2 months out from the election. We just had a major announcement this week. Kamala Harris is Biden's running mate. Joseph, his mom calls him Joseph. Joe Biden's running mate for the presidency of the United States. So let's start right there because there's been a lot of talk surrounding the Kamala decision. What were your thoughts, Jason? You work in the activist community, so I want to start with you.
All right, yeah. Smart move by Joe's team and Joe to go ahead and reach out to Kamala and get that commitment. The undertones of bringing in a black woman into the White House, I mean, that's going to be historic first and foremost. There are a lot of naysayers out there for her and her platform, for her past. And we spoke about this briefly last time I was on with you, ReZsaun. I'm not so much worried about her 10 years ago, as I am as what she's done like the last 4 to 6 years.
Yeah.
And what the track record that she's showing going forward. So she's probably one of the most decisive progressives that are sitting in Senate right now, actually making things happen, actually making moves. She's definitely the most knowledgeable in the justice system out of all other options he could have had for a running mate. And even though she fell out the race a little bit earlier than I thought she could have, I don't fault that at her or her team or even her track record, when she was in the criminal justice world full-heartedly as a prosecutor. I fault it to the DNR as far as pinpointing Joe as the only one off the team that could beat Trump.
Yeah.
Because I believe if Kamala would have went up as the front runner, she could have partnered up with anybody and beat Trump hands down.
Yeah, I agree.
Just my feels on it. But I do feel extremely confident. My only fear is young brothers and sisters aren't out there getting registered to vote. They're not ready. Even though the polls look good, the numbers look good for Joe's favor. We saw these same numbers 4 years ago with Hillary.
Yeah, interesting. So very good point.
We got to keep our heads up, our eyes open, and keep pushing this message of register to vote and make sure no matter how it comes about, a ballot, going to a poll physically, whatever it's going to take to get our communities activated. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. We're out in the streets every day fighting the fight, and we're willing to take the risk for COVID because the fight means that much to us.
Yeah.
Brothers and sisters packed up inside of Walmart every single day because being in the house sometimes is just too much and they need to get out. That one day The one day you can go to the polls and just get out and vote. If they're going to mess with the mail system, if they're going to try to slow us down that route, we're going to have to go ahead and take that sacrifice and that hit and
head to the polls.
That risk and go out to the polls and do what you got to do.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing that, bro. Thank you for sharing that. Let's come to you, Greg. I know you work a lot in the political arena. You've actually run for office twice, I believe. So let's talk about it. How do you feel about the VP pick? I mean, the running mate pick, and what are your thoughts on the election?
Man, I think Kamala was a really strong choice for Joe. I think she's a great candidate. She's a strong candidate. I think she would bring a lot to his campaign. First of all, she's a United States senator, which means she's electable. She's a couple of terms. You know, she's electable. I mean, individuals are voting for Kamala. She has a really strong following. So I think like him bringing her on really brought a lot of African Americans that had an issue with Joe and some of the things that he's done in the past. And like Jason said, we kind of got to make certain that we go out to vote. Got a lot of individuals that have an issue with what we got going on now, and we'll argue and we'll have a lot of passion at the cookouts. We'll argue and have a lot of passions at parties and at the crab crack and the oyster roast. We don't keep that same energy on election day. You know, we get too tired after leaving work on election day and we don't want to vote. I think if we keep that same energy that we have at crab crack and the oyster roast and we show up to vote, man, I mean, we can change what's going on in the United States. And you can see that individuals want change, and that happened in the last midterm election, 2018, where individuals showed up in general election numbers. You know, those individuals showed up, stayed in long lines. I think that's the most we've ever had before in a midterm election 2 years ago, because individuals want change. I was telling someone I stood outside Royal for maybe 5 hours, and the lines were so long, and I had older individuals come to me, and they were like, you know, they showed up today because you know change is coming, and individuals are thirsty for change.
Yeah, I agree. I remember thinking back to. Yeah, I can hear you. You going sort of. You went in and out at the end, but I can hear you for most part. I remember the one thing I remember about the Obama election was that we voted early, and we drove to St. George, and I remember I had to wait 3 hours to vote. Like the lines were that long, and it's like history shown that when there's a higher voting rate, a higher voting turnout, Democrats win. Lower voter turnout, Republicans win. Like this is not rocket science. We got to turn out the vote. I want to go to Jacob. Please introduce yourself, brother. I'm sorry I didn't include you in the group when I sent the stuff out, but introduce yourself to the audience, brother.
It's all good, man. It's all good. I'm Jacob Taylor. I'm a native of Walterboro, South Carolina. I've been in Charleston over 18 years. Did the classic Man of Charleston, leading lady of Charleston, and now on to Voices of Fashion, which is a fashion weekend that I created here in Charleston. And also own Tailored by Taylor, which is a custom clothier business. So
yep, and he also has very interesting taste in music.
What's up, Greg? I see one familiar face.
Me and him gonna talk about these.
Talk to the rest of the fellas.
What's going on, brother?
What's going on? Digga, what are your thoughts on
Everybody
the election?
just went mute just now. I don't know what happened.
Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me.
I can't hear anybody.
Jacob, go out and come back in.
Yeah.
Go out and come back in. Digga, what are your thoughts on the election?
You know, I like keeping things real.
I know you do.
Honestly speaking, Kamala was the best pick that he could have gotten. Not only because she knows, the Senate, she knows the law. So, but the most important topic that I do want to tell everybody out there listening is go out and vote. Register to vote. The last 3 elections, I registered to vote, and it's one of the best things that you can do. So, if you want to change the narrative, you have the power to do it with voting.
Absolutely. Thank you. Joseph, Mr. Bailey, please. What are your thoughts? Kamala, election.
Yes. First of all, I think this is a great topic. I'm going in and out, maybe because of my receptions, but the main thing is I believe it's the same game, just different players, is what I believe. I believe that anytime we continue to invest all of our time, all of our energy in pushing people to the same system that have been created to kill, destroy, steal, rape, and produce this type of world we living in, all we're doing is feeding that system. Is my position.
That's an interesting position. Very interesting position. Jacob, your thoughts on the election?
Give it a break, man. Let it roll out. You know, to the people that's bashing Kamala. I know they bringing up the what happened during the crack epidemic. The 3-strike rule. They're bringing that up a lot.
1994 crime bill.
But it's a lot of millennials in latter X generation bringing that story up, and they didn't live through that era. They didn't see families ripped apart. They didn't see the toll and the stress that crack epidemic. So yes, there was some injustices definitely in that bill, man. But that was a crazy time for us. You know, that was a crazy time. So
yeah, that's the thing. When people talk about the 1994 crime bill, there's a lot of context that people miss on that topic. They miss like the idea of context, right? So when you talk about certain laws that were passed laws that were passed in history, you have to look at the context in which those laws were created and the things that called for those laws. So when you talk about the 1994 crime bill, the version of the bill that was written, first you have to understand when a bill is written, the bill that is originally written by the original writer of the bill, they write one version of the bill. That bill has to pass through committees, go through House, and then go through Senate. If it's written in Senate, it has to go through Senate and then go through the House. In order for it to do that, people add on things to the bill before it gets to the president for the president to sign that bill. When Joe Biden wrote that bill, Schoolhouse Rock tried to tell us. So when that bill originally was written by Joe Biden, there were certain things that were not a part of that bill. The 3 strikes law was not a part of that bill. The militarization of the police was not a part of that bill. The building up of the federal prison system was not a part of that bill. Those are all things that were added on as that bill went from the original writer from the creator of the bill to the president, who was then Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton was a big proponent of the 3 strikes bill, of the 3 strikes. Now, the thing that we have to remember about that bill is that bill was requested and approved by the National Black Caucus, by the NAACP, and every black leader in the nation in the 90s. No, you will not find any documentation. You will not find any documentation of any black leadership that went against that bill in 1994, even with what we know it became later, because I don't think they could see what it would become. But the crime issue in the country, especially in the African American community, because of what happened during the crack epidemic, which was not our fault, but that's a whole other issue for a whole other day. It was at a terrible point. And so that bill, when it passed, people are gonna kill Biden for that bill. But if you look at what happened with that bill and what's actually in that bill, you'd have a different outlook on it. What are your thoughts? Let's go to Joseph. Let's go to you. I know you say you're going in and out. Joseph, yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
Okay. You want me to just respond to what I'm hearing or a specific question?
No, just your thoughts on the 1994 crime bill, how it impacts Joe Biden in the campaign, everything.
Well, I believe exactly what you just broke down is the facts. In reference to, you start off with an individual creating a bill, and then they build it with 2 or 3 people. Maybe they build it with themselves, and then they present it to get signed off on. Then now you get the negotiations, and you get all the back behind the wall stuff. And then most people who started off, with the bill, they're willing to negotiate for the result to say that their name was attached to a bill.
Yeah.
So they're willing to work with them to bring in some things. So I can see where you're coming from in reference to it might have started one way, and then by the time it got to another place, a lot of things was added to it, and then now they all connected to that same bill. But that goes right back to the same original statement that I made, because it's all politics as usual. It's the same thing all over again, just a different, same game, just a different player, different face, you know?
Yeah, I feel that. Thank you. Greg.
So I think, there were a lot of issues with the bill. I think a lot of individuals are kind of looking at, him kind of, working with that, and they kind of judge that his past, and even Kamala's past, her working in California, they judge that, and they're like, how could we vote for someone like Joe, or how could we vote for someone like Kamala after all they've done to the Black community? And then I had someone even tell me, they said, have you seen Kamala's backstory? Have you seen Joe's backstory? And my response is, have you seen Trump's backstory? You got choices. I don't think that everything Joe did was good. I don't think everything Kamala did was good.
Right.
But I don't think nothing Trump has was good. So if we're going to compare, we have choices. If it were me, there were individuals as it relates to president, I may have wanted to choose someone else for president. I like Chick-fil-A, but if my options is McDonald's or Burger King, and I don't have the choice to choose Chick-fil-A, I'm gonna have to choose between the better out of the two. I'm gonna have to choose McDonald's. They got better fries. So I think we're gonna have to go with the choice. Despite all the stuff that we have an issue with in the past, as it relates to Joe's involvement in the crime bill, as it relates to Kamala, as it relates to history in California, with individuals saying that she locked up a lot of African Americans. We're going to have to look past some of those indifferences, and we're going to have to vote for a candidate. The better choice. The better choice is Kamala. The better choice is Joe Biden. We've seen. I talk to my child and I tell her, there are certain things we don't do. We don't offend individuals. We don't use profanity. We don't lie. We don't talk about individuals from different races. But when the president of the United States gets on the television, I have to put a mute on, because he's going to cuss. He's going to talk about the Hispanics. He's going to talk about women. His past is going to come up by how he's offended or abused women, how he's talked to individuals, verbal abuse, how he disregards individuals' opinions. And I'm like, we're going to have to choose somebody else. We're going to have to choose a better example, a better leader, and we're going to have to forget about, we're going to have to kind of just choose a better choice, a better choice. And the better choice is definitely Joe. The better choice is Kamala, without a doubt. And I'm going to be honest, Kamala was my first choice as it relates to president. I wanted to vote for her.
Yeah. And a lot of people are like that. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, well, like they would have voted for Kamala anyway. She was riding high until Tulsi came around and did what Tulsi does. But y'all, those who watch the show, y'all know how I feel about Tulsi Gabbard. She had one job and one job only, and that was to get Kamala up out the paint, and she did. I wanted to go to my bro, Jason. What you think?
It's interesting that he brought up the point of you have two choices. I think that we're losing a lot of steam on the right side just because people wanted another choice. There's a lot of people out there that wanted a different choice. Mm-hmm. There are some people out there that wanted Bernie. There's people out there that want an independent runner right now. I meet these people every day. Yeah. So that's why I can speak to that. And we get locked into this, what I wanted. But as the brother said, you got McDonald's or Burger King. I don't care how much you wanted a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah. They will not
Beyond
be.
That,
that's not an option.
No, it's not. Beyond that, I'll say that the crime bill in the 90s, that wasn't Biden's only bill that he actually got locked into.
True.
That's not the only one he was a part of that became something else because of the additions and the changes as it got up to the seat to get the final approval, part of the negotiation process. I mean, we can take it back just 8 years ago in, the Affordable Health Care Act.
Yeah.
Same thing happened there.
Yeah.
And you can't hold that against anything other than partisan divide. You know, had we been able to get the Affordable Health Care Act through with a full Democratic, Congress, Democratic Senate, it would have been a completely different story.
Yeah.
So you do have to be careful where you place that blame and where you're placing that attention when you're digging up this dirt on both sides.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to end that right there. We're at 8:18, and I want to get to that second topic. But thank y'all so much for that. I want to end that topic with one thought. Whether you're voting, first of all, I saw Jade Simmons for president up in the comment section, so I want to make sure I say that she did not make the polls, the ballot in South Carolina, but she is on the ballots in 44 states, and we are viewed in more states than just South Carolina. So if you want to vote for Jade Simmons, she's also an option. Look at her website, Operation Restoration 2020. Check her out. She was on the show. Great interview, great young lady, and she's from South Carolina. Check her out. If you want to vote for her, hey, go for it. I don't knock anybody for their voting choices. And I want to say that, and I also want to say, no matter who you vote for, please get registered. Please get registered. Please take your time, exercise your right as an American citizen to vote. All right, moving on to our next topic.
SCVotes.org.
SCVotes.org. Yes, do that. Go there. I want to talk about a topic that's kind of sensitive, a sensitive topic amongst Black men quite often, and it's interracial dating. Interracial dating. All right. Now, I know at least one person on here has extensive history in interracial dating. I can't. So I'm going to go to who I consider to be the interracial dating expert of the panel. Digga Jones, please get us started, bro. What are your thoughts on interracial dating?
I'd rather go last.
Jacob, you haven't got to say much yet, bro. Go ahead. Interracial dating.
I'd rather go last.
I've honestly never dated outside of my race, man. Despite the popular belief, I guess because I'm in fashion, they expect me to date like this model type chick. But or young lady, should I say? But I've never dated outside of my race. I was born in Walterboro, and I came around a family. One side of my family, they would say if they can't use your comb, don't bring them home.
Don't bring her home.
And that's just how I was raised. No reflection, and that's outside of my family. That's no regard to my mom that may be watching or my whatever. But that's just what was said. So I've never had an interest. I've never knocked it per se. But for me in my house, I'm black, brown. I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't knock anybody for doing it. I mean, you can't knock who you love. And I hear people say all the time, I was watching an interview on the Breakfast Club, and this guy was like, you can't, I forgot what he said, but he said you can't fight in the streets and then sleep different at home. You know what I'm saying? So I know a lot of people got different views on it, but I don't really have a view on it, man. You date who you date. You know what I'm saying? You love who you love, man.
Word. Joseph.
Yes, sir. Yes. I mean, in reference to, all I can think about from this topic is just a true story. Is this white young lady? She actually, me and her was looking like we was going to be doing something, and when we came together to actually kiss, it really, when I touched her, and this is, please, if there's white people or Caucasian women that know me that's catch this video, please know I'm no racist, never been a racist. But when I touched her, it's like it just turned me off. I didn't want anything to do with anyone, from that direction. And then it just put me back in the direction of a sister, So that's just my desire. That's just what in my makeup, wants, so I don't have an issue with it. I just know my spirit, kind of had an issue with it. But other things in reference to, other people, all I'm saying is, first of all, and nowadays you have to have a real solid love to come out there and say, okay, well, you are going to engage in a you know, just a different race, you know, because you know you're going to get scrutinized, you know you're going to be talked about. So I'm just saying, I'm with my brother right here that said, just whoever you love, man, just it is what it is. But you got to really be strong nowadays to stand up against all the oppositions that's trying to tell you who you should love. So if I love a white woman, if I just touch that white woman and then it turned me on for white women, then I didn't care who said something to me about this white woman that I'm in love with, that I'm rocking with, you know. But my preference is, you know, your little sister, you know. Sorry, no disrespect.
All right.
But
And of
that's
course,
what
remember, interracial also includes. Let's talk about Hispanic women, Asian women, Native American women, Indian women. So,
Yep.
so we gonna make sure we talking more than just white women, because we don't want our white diaspora to feel as though we singling them out, because all lives matter.
yes.
All right.
100%.
Jason, coming to you, bro. Go ahead.
Bro, can I be
love
next to last?
Oh, next to last? Oh, you are?
Yeah,
Are
next
you
to
the?
last.
Are you the resident? The backup expert?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's
I
the
got
closer.
you.
That's the closer.
I got you. No. I'm gonna let Brother Jones have the close. I'm just gonna come in next to last.
All right, Greg, cook, man.
Well, man, I think all women are beautiful. So I like them all. I like them short. I like them tall. I like them white. I like them, you know, I think white women are beautiful. Hispanic, Asian, Native American, you know, big women, skinny women, BBWs. I think they're all beautiful. I, however, have a preference that lives with me, who's caramel. So that's my preference, the one that lives with me. That's my
That was a good
preference now.
save. I
But I
like
think
that.
they're
That
all
was good.
beautiful. I mean, I've been all over, man. I know, right? So I think she's watching. But I've been to man, listen, man, I've been to several different places, man. I've been to Puerto Rico. I've seen Puerto Rican women, and they're all beautiful. You know, I grew up in Charleston around African American women, man, and I think black women are gorgeous. I think they're amazing. I think, you know, our women are definitely strong women. I think all women are strong. I think women are strong. They definitely have the ability to deal with us, and I think it's because they understand us. You know, they understand us. They're able to deal with us. You know, but I think all women are beautiful, man.
Yeah.
And I think like Jacob said, love who you love. Love who you
Yeah.
love.
Yeah. I wish I had a button on here that said he's safe. That was good, Greg.
Hey, I was a little worried for my bro. I was a little worried.
I wish I had a button. I promise you, I'm gonna have that next time. Jason, go ahead, bro.
All right, bro. So, backstory on me. You can go back to my great grandfather. My family were slaves. My great grandfather was actually the illegitimate child of a slave or a slave owner. So he basically looked white, because I'm sure that's not the first time they were dipping into the family before we got to that point.
Yeah.
He caramel skin, but straight black hair, almost like Indian, with ice blue eyes. His father actually left him everything that he had when his father passed away, aside from his other daughters. So his father only had daughters with his regular wife, his white wife, but that was his only son. And his father left him everything when he passed away. Freedom for his mother, set my great-great-grandfather free, you know, and gave him land. And I mean, an abundance of land. Our family still lives out there. John Jones Road, Bahama, North Carolina. You check it out. That's where my family comes from. My dad, he's browner than me. You know, he grew up as a black man. My mother's Filipino. He met my mom. She came here with her mom and her mom's husband at the time, who was a Navy guy, brought her here. So my mom was raised in an entirely black family. As a young Filipino woman, she came to the States at the age of 12. You know, so she basically, my mom still talks with an accent that would make you think she's straight out the hood. But she's Filipino. And her and my dad met, and they've been together all their life. My first serious relationship, I got a set of triplets from my first wife. Black woman. You know, I stay close to what I like. I like what I like, and like the brother said, you like what you like. You don't switch up, or it doesn't matter what it is. And like the other brother said, I like them all. My second child's mother was a black woman when I was in the Marine Corps. Currently, and for the last 12 years, I've been with a white woman, and my wife holds me down no matter what.
Yeah.
And my wife will go out there and fight the same fight I'm fighting right now if I would let her.
Yeah.
I protect my family, so I keep her back. So to answer your question, as far as preference, there's not a preference for me, but I will say that there is a difference in the relationships. And before the sisters on the page start going crazy, I'm not talking about a difference as far as how the relationship is ran. I'm talking about a different bond because my wife and I have fought the same fights of racism on both sides. If I go back in the day, I used to have an afro that was like, out here somewhere. And I used to have to go to the shop, get my hair braided. And if my wife came in there with me, she had to fight the looks. She had to fight the stares. And I had to stand beside her. No, she's with me. You know what I mean? This is my girl. This is my wife. I don't care what you think. This is us. And we doing good.
Yeah.
Likewise, we go to one of her family functions, and one of her family members or something feels a certain type of way, she's the one to check them. That's my man. Don't worry about that. We're good. He treats me good. We're good. Financially, we're straight. We're building the future. And it's like that every step of the way, even down to the police. I've been put in handcuffs and she's been left walking free, and she was the driver and I was the passenger. But she definitely didn't leave me out there by myself, and she fought for me and advocated for me every step of the way. You know what I mean? So when I say the relationship's different, I don't mean, sisters, that it's a easier relationship because me and my wife fight. We fight like cats. Actually, we may fight more than I've ever fought with a female before in my life. But that's because she's strong-willed, strong-minded.
And she has strong hands.
Nah, she ain't got strong hands, bro. Boy. you gonna throw me back to that domestic violence conversation. No, but we fight, we argue, we go through everyday life stuff, but our bond's different just because we fight it on both sides. If we walk in a restaurant, I'm just as quick to check somebody for being, nasty to her because she's with me, as she is to somebody being nasty to me because I'm with her.
Yeah.
And that's the game. That's the game changer side of all of it. Not to mention, bro, unless anybody here came over, family started here within the last 20 years or so, everybody in here is mixed. You know what I mean?
Somehow, some way. Yeah.
Somehow, some way.
Absolutely.
And that's not going to stop changing.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. So
thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. Digga.
So I wanted to go last because I wanted to make sure my answer was precise and well thought about. So I will agree with everybody else is saying. The heart wants what the heart wants. But I'm going to give you an example. One of the biggest songs in 2018 came out May 5th, and it was a song called This Is America by Childish Gambino. Very, very, very pro-black. It made you feel good to be, a person of color. It made you feel empowered to be a person of color. But when Donald Glover goes home, who does he go home to? Think about it. White woman. Michael B. Jordan started in one of the biggest films for African Americans in 2018. Black Panther, correct?
Yep.
When he was dating during Black Panther, who did he go home to?
White woman.
A white woman. Just because you date outside your race does not mean you're not pro-black or anti-black. Because the heart wants what the heart wants. Do I date white women? Of course. Anybody who's known me for the last 20 years. ReZsaun, you've known me for about 9 years, right?
Yep.
Have you seen me date anybody inside my race?
Nope.
My sister, is she married to anybody inside her race?
No. I just realized that.
My brother has 2 biracial children, correct?
Yes.
You look at my parents. My mom is Dominican and Dominican, black and white. My dad looks like a burnt match. I'm sorry. But we were raised that anybody you bring home, it doesn't matter if they're purple. Just as long as you love them, they love you, they treat you good, you treat them good, everything's a fair playing game. And that's the way I was raised. I grew up in a primarily white neighborhood. I grew up in the suburbs. I'm not afraid to admit that. I'm a suburb child. So when I did try to go to some of the black females and try to talk to them and so on and so on, they said, oh, you're one of those sangaree boys. Nah, I'm good. You know what I mean? So it wasn't the fact that I didn't try or didn't want to. I was just rejected by my own kind. So, and I'm not saying, you know, like I said, it's not pro-black, anti-white, pro-white, anti-black. It's just that's what I was attracted to, because I'm not saying that's all I could have gotten, but that's all that showed me love at that time. And that's that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank y'all for sharing that. That took a really long time, fellas. We literally have 2 minutes left in this segment. We have 2 minutes left in this segment, and we only got around once on this topic. I really wanted to get into, and I want to let's try to quick hit this because we got like a minute and a half. I want to quick hit this topic because my problem is I've never dated a white girl or anybody outside my race. I'll put that out there. My problem is never that somebody dates outside their race. My issue is always when someone feels the need to bash black women because they decide to date outside of the race. That's the problem that I have. Has anybody experienced that in 30 seconds or less?
I have personally.
Bro, that's like the hardest thing in the world.
Women?
Correct. Yeah, like the dude's just like, oh, here's my white queen, because none of you sisters, none of you black women can respect and appreciate a black man like me. I had to step outside and da-da-da-da-da. Go ahead, Jason. I see you came first.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that's like one of the hardest things in the world to have that conversation about. And again, as I put it in here, it's not about that for me, but I've been around, you know, brothers with white girlfriends, you know. It's almost like an unspoken club sometimes. If you go out with your white girl, somebody gonna run up talk to you, try to become your friend because you know they catch a hardship at home or whatever. And I think my man know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But on some real stuff, I've run into those brothers that are like, you know, that's why I don't mess with black girls because they got this attitude, they got this, they got that, they got this, they got that. Bro, I mean, again, my grandma's black. Like, she didn't have an attitude. She was a strong woman because that's who she had to be. My grandfather wasn't there all the time. He didn't do the things he was supposed to do. She had to be strong. That is naturally installed in our women, and that is not a problem to deal with. That's a strength to nurture and appreciate. So you see it a lot. I hear it a lot. You know that it always goes back to an attitude issue, and I can nullify that for everybody out there. It's not an attitude. It's an insuperiority issue or a feeling of inferiorness to the black male sometimes, not at fault to the female, but at fault of their own.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, Jacob. I heard you say something. What you got?
No, nothing to say, but I agree with that, man. I hate that. I used to roll with this dude, man. He was an athlete, and I see this amongst like a lot of football players, a lot of athletes. No shade, but they go towards the other side. They date outside of their race because they say it's too much attitudes. They don't understand me gone all the time. This, that, and the third. And I'm like, yo, love who you love, but don't bash the other, because every black woman doesn't have an attitude problem.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it's something you giving off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think in all those relationships, you have to reflect on yourself. You know what I'm saying? And maybe your rejection has to do with something you're giving off, or something you're giving towards that energy, you know, you're carrying or whatever.
Absolutely. Greg.
I don't know, bro. Jacob, all the black women I know got a lot of attitude, bro. Got a lot of attitude.
Hey, you gonna be sleeping outside.
But what I will
the thoughts and views.
Right. Listen, I know, right, in the car. But listen, but what I will say is that but what I will say is that same attitude that they have, that strong personality, it translates when they're defending you as well. You cannot talk about a black sister's van. She's gonna go in on you. I mean, that same attitude that they give you is the same attitude that they use to defend you as well. And I think for me, the only reason why I stuck with a black woman all my life is just for the whole simple fact of like this kind of having that same cultural background, us having something in common. I think a lot of individuals say stuff like, you know, opposites attract. That may be true, but people who have common things in common have better relationships. I think it's called the propinquity effect, where when you have things in common, is least likely to argue about something we both like. If we both like comedies, what's the use about arguing about watching a comedy if we both like it? We're not gonna argue about that. If we both like collard greens, macaroni, and fried chicken, we're not gonna argue about having macaroni, collard greens, and fried chicken. But if we are different, then there are a lot of things we're going to kind of argue about because we don't agree on it. So for me, the sisters have just like the whole cultural commonality is why I've kind of stuck with a black woman, and definitely my preference, again, who lives with me, has a lot in common with me, and that's why I'm with her. My only
and she has so many other redeeming qualities as well, other than being a black woman. So shout out to Mrs. Perry for sure. Joseph, you last comment. Bring us home.
Oh man, I mean, in reference to just focusing on the black women is, I just think there's something very, 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 very special about all women. Number one, because women are the first God that we know. So we all come from a woman. So whether it's white, black, young, old, Mexican, Chinese, woman is the most valuable creature to me. That God has created. When it comes to black woman, it's just. They are different, and what I've learned is a lot of like my man was saying, a lot of athletes, they would go with a white woman, just like Malcolm X and a lot of black folks back in the day went to a white woman because they said, you can't have a white woman, or the white woman is above your pay grade. So they wanted to just beat out all of it to grab them. I got a white woman. This is my trophy. Regardless of whatever went on with it or whatever, but my spirit, and just with no disrespect to other race, is black woman is just my taste, But I just think you guys are a special panel, and I love your show, my brother.
Thank you, man. Praise God. Thank y'all so much, man. Fellas, before y'all get out of here, I want you to take about 30 seconds each. Plug anything that you need to plug. I'll start with Jason.
All right, Standards One's got a march coming up next Friday, marching on sled. We're going to Columbia. Team strong. We're looking good. Everything's put together. We will march on sled. We're trying to get them off the streets of Charleston. We're trying to make sure they follow up on the case of Elijah right here in Charleston, or Mount Pleasant, Charleston side. The young brother that drowned out in the bay or out the river.
Yeah.
We're trying to make sure they stay on top of that case because things still aren't sitting right with him, his family. His mom still tore up about it, and we're trying to get true answers. So that's where we're at right now. United Front still moving strong, and we're still fighting for justice for P-Rock and Ion of Sass.
Word. Thank you for sharing that, bro. We definitely encourage you in everything that you're doing. Digga Jones.
www.father2father.org. That's our website. Other than that, listen to Digga and Two Guns podcast, Digga and Two Guns news and views.
You can find that where?
Oh, anywhere where podcasts are listened to.
All right. Greg Perry.
Low Country Young Democrats, we have tomorrow at 6 p.m. We're interviewing. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you good.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, so Low Country Young Democrats, we're interviewing Senator Margie Bright Matthews tomorrow, Senate candidate Debbie Bryant, and Senate candidate Richard Rissick tomorrow at 6 p.m. on the Low Country Young Democrats page. Me and Jessica Bright, we're going to interview those individuals. And next Saturday, the 22nd at 9 a.m., my nonprofit Low Country Hope Project, we're going to be cleaning up in the 10 Mile community in North Charleston off of Rivers Avenue from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. You guys want to join us there, definitely follow that page, Low Country Hope Project, and definitely tune in tomorrow at 6 p.m. to see us interview those Senate candidates and senator.
Absolutely. Love that. All right, brother Joseph Bailey.
Yeah, well, all this, I mean, I'm just saying, I love black men coming together, especially this season. So I'm more of a fan, than even worrying about myself. But anyway, the number one thing is right here in New York City right now, there's a family that hit home to where we all know about all the health disparities and all these things that's going on. Well, family they had a child, and the child have been stripped away from the mother and the father for over 2 months. And I've gotten involved, and I've realized so many corrupt things in this system. And that's the number one focus that we're focused on right now, and is making sure that they stop separating these parents from the children. And it's a system, it's a corrupt system. It is so corrupt, and it's so disrespectful, regardless. Like the facts are this. They know these are the facts. They know we can show people these are the facts what you have done to this family. However, it does not matter. We're still going to bum rush you, and we're going to go after the other children as well. So that's what's going on. And the second one is there's a TV, radio, talk show where we believe it's going to be a world-changing platform that's going to lead this country to a better day. And it's I Have a Dream, TOOglobal.com. I have a dream, like Martin Luther King, TOOglobal.com. I love you guys. Anything I can do. If I was in Charleston or any one of those areas, what I just heard about, I would be there. Because I used to be, you guys. I'm 44 years old, you know, and I left the low country for a while. But, you know, I love where I come from, and I would be honored to support you guys and everything you guys doing. And thank you. Thank you for that.
Word. Thank you so much for that, bro.
We love you too, brother.
Thank you for that, bro. All right,
Thank
Jacob. Taylor by Taylor.
Yeah. I'm not gonna even do that one, but Voices of Fashion, man, it was gonna be huge this year. We casted over 80 models this year, and it was a direct answer to the rejection we got from CFW. If anybody know what CFW is, we got tired of the exclusivity that they were projecting, and just created something of our own, man, something of our own for us and for everybody else. But unfortunately, this year we have to cancel due to COVID-19. But we are having a launch party coming up. So guys, just follow Voices of Fashion 19. It's Voices of Fashion Charleston.com, and on Instagram it's Voices of Fashion 19.
Word.
So follow that and look out
it.
for it. Yeah.
I love it. Thank you guys. Gentlemen, y'all register to vote. Register to vote.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. Y'all did an amazing job. I'm gonna clear y'all out and bring in the next panel. Thank y'all so much. As we're clearing them out and getting to our final panel of the evening. If this was Twitter or Instagram, they call this Demon Hour, because it always goes left in this final segment. It always goes left in this segment because Sean is usually a part of this segment. And once again, Sean is a part of this segment. So here we go. Sean.
I'm the left. I'm the reason it goes left.
I'm already laughing.
I didn't even do nothing. I just showed up. I showed up.
Sean's in the segment. Sean just popped up on the camera. My bro, listen. This is what they call demon time on on social media. The third segment is always the one that goes off the rails. I don't plan it. I promise you I don't. It just so happens that Sean always ends up in the final segment. Sean's a 4-time. We've had 4 episodes. Sean been on all 4. And all 4 times, it's going off the rails for a segment.
I think you might have an issue with a black man or something. I don't know.
We just talked about our love for black people. We just did. That
was a good segment too, man.
It was. Yeah, I enjoyed that one. So we got some new members tonight. We got some old members. So I want you guys to go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience. Sean, you're returning. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
And I guess y'all can just call me Trouble. I guess. I'm Sean Middleton, North Charleston native. Known ReZsaun since I was about 8 years old. Known his brother Carlo even longer. Former political activist, ran for office. Anything with activism, I probably touched it. I consider myself formally retired, and shout out to my alpha brother right there, man. I forgot about you. But to the new people, man, look forward to talking with you and debating you.
Just for the record, I am not his alpha brother. For those who are wondering,
Byron's my alpha brother.
That's me. we saw the hand signal. We saw the hand signals. Go ahead, next alpha brother.
All right, so my name is Byron, better known as Juan Ray. Many of you viewing may know me as that. Rez has definitely been a great brother, a great friend. Taught me a lot about mentoring and honestly just being the best version of you that you can be. I was in Charleston by way of College of Charleston. That's where I met my twin down there, Sterling Salvo twin. What's up, boy? Just in education. Wanting to call me Mister. That wasn't really what I was set out to do. So I graduated with communication. We're now in Columbia. My wife and my two sons. Right now working with Gear Up with Spring Valley High School, which is my former high school. And we are following the class of 2020 as they progress into their new journey, whether it's college, workforce, or military. So I'm just excited to kind of be on this new journey. Excited to be with you, brothers. Sean, man, shout out to you. A all day. What's up, Charvis? I see you, bro. Brother Wood, what's going on, man? I'm just happy to be here.
Already. Charvis, you bike. Go ahead, introduce.
Charvis Wood, local guy, born in upstate New York, raised out here in Charleston, North Charleston on the Macon.
Money making.
Also a mentor as well, right?
Yep.
Plug that in there. DGC. And yeah, that's me. Happy to serve.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. And Sterling, he's a savage.
All right, Sterling Savage. Pretty much same as Juan. I came to Charleston by way of College of Charleston. That's where I met ReZsaun and Juan. Call Me Mentor program. Pretty much like ReZsaun's just always been an inspiration to me. You know what I'm saying? Ever since college, I never really told him as much, and definitely now, like seeing everything he's been doing, and Juan too. Juan was younger than me, but always been, you know what I'm saying, somebody I've been motivated by. And I've been a teacher, just been working with the youth in Charleston for many years, and right now I'm currently a behavior interventionist at Main Street School. So just here. So
hey, listen, before we get started, sorry, Rez, me and Sterling were a force to be reckoned with between 2007 to 2012. We were a force to be reckoned with in Charleston.
What do you mean by you were a force to be reckoned with, fellas?
That was a long time ago.
Right. What do you mean? What do you mean? Since we brought this to a nationally syndicated audience, let's go ahead and dive in there. What were the force? What were the forces doing? The twin forces.
But the twin forces, though, was a lot of influence. It was a lot of influence. But when I think about it, I really think we influenced people to really be creative and be themselves.
Ooh.
Even though we were in a space where a lot of it was like just partying and getting down.
I see.
But we encourage people to be themselves, to be creative, and to just be free.
Y'all motivated.
Be themselves. We united, our powers united. We encourage people, be yourself, no matter what.
Be yourself.
Do your thing. Do your thing. Be yourself.
We're not gonna judge you for whatever.
You know what? You know what? That gives me my first topic. Let's go. So speaking of our topics for this one, we're gonna go to people who are being themselves. So Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion got together.
Let's go.
Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion got together and made a song, and the song was called WAP, and it broke the internet. It broke the internet. Women being themselves. What was your first thought hearing that song? I want to start with Charvis.
Wow. My first thought was just that. Wow. Because when I look at things, I try to look at it from a very objective standpoint because of mentoring. So I try to be able. I try to be in a position where I can meet children where they are, male or female. So it's one of those things, man, where I'm seeing women celebrate that because that's what's always been like in hip hop.
Yeah.
But then the flip side is when you get that kind of attention and that behavior from the guy, then he's looked at a certain way from addressing you with the way and the energy that you brought. So it's just one of those things.
Wow, that was a safe answer. All right. Byron, go ahead. Let's see what you got.
I'm saving it for Sean.
So I saw the hype, and I usually don't bite on the initial post and the initial conversation.
Yeah.
But I started seeing a lot of posts about it. People were like, "Oh, how are we being so hypocritical?" And how we. So I was like, "All right, well, let me go check the video out." Now, the video was creative, to say the least.
Creative. You guys are on y'all safe bag today. We took our safe pills this morning.
No. I'm gonna get on my bag. I'm gonna get on my bag a little later. I want to introduce it through the safe route, but I'm gonna get on my bag a little later. But the fact that there's a wife discussing sexual activities with her husband. That was the first thing. I'm like, Cardi B is married. Who you think she's talking about? Who you think she's talking about? Now, Meg Thee Stallion. First of all, how are we surprised by the content? Because for me, it's whatever the artist is bringing to the table. How are we even surprised? She's never been one to talk about political activism or uplifting young women. She's never, and I'm not saying that's bad, but her bag is her bag.
Yeah, her bag is her bag.
The third thing is tip drill. Slob on my knob. I ain't got no panties on the dance floor. All of these songs, BET Uncut. We even remember how BET Uncut came on, what they was doing in the boxing ring.
Yeah.
Like, it's cool when we say it. It's cool when we say it. It's all good. We say the exact same thing that they were saying. But as soon as a woman says it, a black woman at that, oh man, these some hoes. How are they even talking like that? They talking about penises and all types of. What I'm gonna say is, listen, I'm a married man. If you don't like no WAP in your bedroom, brother, listen, you have to sit down for yourself. You got to sit down for yourself, brother. But it's not necessarily women empowerment or anything. It's just they created what they thought was safe for them.
Word. Okay. All right. We warming up. We warming up. I see where you tried to take it. Yes, women's empowerment. Yes, the fella's been talking about it. Okay. I hear you. Sterling, Cook.
All right, man. So first of all, I was sitting there. I think I was in a meeting or something, and somebody texted me. I was in a group chat with some people, and this girl was like, "Oh, wow, that's my new anthem." I was like, "What you talking about, bro?" Yeah, I was like, so I went and I listened to the song. First of all, I see Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion. Oh, I already know what this is about to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. I listened to it, I'm like, oh, okay, well, okay. So these two together, this is what I expected, you know? And then I saw the video, like my twin said. And I was like, this is a masterpiece. Wow, you really put a lot of thought into this video. Like, wow. You know? Like, wow. And I didn't have any problem with it. You know what I mean? Because this is what they rap about. Meg Thee Stallion has a whole song about a man's private part with a shape, in a certain shape. Do you get what I'm saying? It's called Captain Hook. And she talks about that. So I don't understand where the outrage is coming from with this song. Like, have you not heard any of Cardi B's other songs? Have you not heard of any of Megan Thee Stallion's other songs and then put them together on the track? They made a fire track for the summer. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if people want to use it as empowerment, that's your own thing. But I think they just made a song, man, the video, and it's like, I mean, if I want to listen to trap music and say that's my anthem and get me motivated every day, then that's what I can do. That doesn't mean I'm trapping, you know. But I also talked to one of my other close friends, and I showed him this video. He was like, I don't see what the big deal is. I don't see why any guys are like, oh my God, women shouldn't be. They're pretty much saying, this is what I like. And it's pretty much a play-by-play of, this is what I like. This is what I want you to do to me. So this is how I like being treated. So if you have a problem with that, if you have a problem with your woman telling you how she likes to be treated and how she likes to be, made to feel good.
Yeah.
Then that's a large issue. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I hear you. I hear you. I'm laughing at the comments. I'm looking at the comments and laughing.
If we can discuss this song and all that, but if you have a problem with them or this song specifically, but not with hip hop in general and what it promotes in general, the negative connotation and things in general, that's a different conversation. Now, if you're like, hey, the direction that hip hop is going in and all these, that's a different discussion than just, no, these women or women. That's a different conversation. So I don't have a problem with it.
Word. Okay. All right, Sean.
I'm not gonna lie to you, man. You might be surprised by this, ReZsaun, but I have to roll with the pro Cardi B and Meg Thee Stallion crowd on this one because I wrote down a list from the 90s. Okay, we got Lil Kim, and this is what we grew up on. We got Lil Kim, we got Trina, SWV. Now with SWV, I didn't know that song Downtown, what that was about until I was grown. Okay,
there you go. Downtown.
I didn't know what that was, but when I was about 23, I listened to it again. I was like, hey, that's nasty.
Pause real quick. Because that was not a single. How do we all know that song?
Hey, you know why
that
we know
was
that
not
song.
A single. It didn't on the radio.
That song is how you keep your girl. That's how you keep your girl. That song Downtown. All right, so let's continue the list. So SWV, we got Adina Howard, okay? Just her album cover. That's like 95. You got Kia, My Neck, My Back, and My... Come on now.
All right, Sean, you cooking. It's Sean today.
Nelly's Tip Drill. I had Tip Drill recorded on VHS 4 times in a row for this research project that I was doing. It wasn't for me. It was for other people. But it was for... I prefer to be in the room alone when I watch Tip Drill 4 times in a row. Okay? And let's not forget. Where this man go?
Decent time, man. Sean.
VHS, man. I had
a research project. You got a research project.
We got Erykah Badu's music video where there's a white substance pouring all over her body. Nobody said nothing. We got Beyonce. We got Beyonce, but what was it representing?
It don't matter.
We know what it was representing. But you got Beyonce talking about drinking watermelon. When she said, I'm drinking watermelon, I was like, who drinks watermelon? And then somebody told me, how do you drink a watermelon? But somebody, we got TLC, 91, 92. We got Salt and Pepper, 88, 89, 90. The thing about people,
oh man,
is we choose right and wrong based on who's doing it. People already have a perception of Meg Thee Stallion, and they already have a perception of Cardi B, right? But all of these artists have been doing the same thing. I'm gonna say it's 30 years. Guesstimated. We grew up off of this type of stuff, and you just starting to have a problem with it last week. Like, I'm 37 years old, and in the past 12 years, I've had at least 5 girlfriends. I've cheated on them all except for 2. And they all did everything that they were talking about in that video. They all did all that stuff. And I'm talking about I wasn't cheating. I wasn't watching porn. I wasn't doing... There was no need.
I love Sean so much.
Because they did all the pornographic stuff in real life. I didn't need the virtual world anymore.
You didn't need the virtual world.
Just... My whole thing is get off your high horse. Get off your high horse. You've been listening to this stuff for 30 years. We just live in a society where people want to be sensitive about everything. And I mean, I still got the Nelly Tip Drill VHS. I don't have anything to play it anymore, but
you keep it for
when I heard WAP is in my YouTube favorites. I listen to it every day. Every day.
So let me Thank you, Sean, for that spirited journey through hip hop history.
Riveting.
I want to say, of 4 episodes of you being on this, that was your finest hour, my friend. You, sir, are in the Homeboy Hall of Fame for that segment right there. You made it.
Can I say, please put me on with Sean on the next.
I told you, Sean. I'm telling you, Sean has that's my guy, man. So my sister came in. My sister Sharea is here. She don't got no click tonight. We click free. All right, we good. We got earphones tonight. We got headphones tonight. We're good. We're about to have a great segment. Please introduce yourself to the audience, sis.
I am Sharea, of course, his sister. I don't have to give you any of this political background and stuff because that's not what this segment is about.
The segment is not that one.
So I am just simply going to be the female perspective on the panel on this evening, and it's already been quite the segment thus far.
Oh, man.
Thank you, Sean. That was awesome.
When Sean said he had the video 4 times recorded on VHS for a research project that he was working on, I died. Y'all are looking at my ghost right now.
Can only imagine what he's been researching.
This he got a research project. But sis, what was your thoughts when you heard the song?
All right, so let me tell you that I'm approaching this particular segment with such a great deal of ambiguity.
So should I get my safe button together? Do I have my safe button over here?
No. I'm gonna be good. I promise to be good.
Okay, all right.
First, and I'm gonna tell you the reason why. Because when I first heard it, I heard it in the car while my oldest daughter was driving.
Oh wow. Okay.
So anytime, now I can't speak for anybody else, but as a parent, there's just certain things that we engage in and indulge in that we just simply don't want our damn kids to know is happening. However, my daughters are now 18 and 19 years old, so they are in a different world now. They're no longer in the space where I have to hide them from everything they see, hear, and do. But it is uncomfortable at the same time because the song comes on and I'm like, oh shit, can she see me sitting over here? Because on one end, I'm like, the track is hot.
Okay.
Track is hot, and I'm like, yo, let me go ahead and text my dude, let him know, I got the night off. But on the other end, my kid's in the car, and I'm like, oh shit.
Okay. All right.
Is she hearing this? I don't want her to know. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's where.
Hey, Wayne.
Go ahead, Charvis. I see you. Go ahead, Charvis.
Hold on. Now, I have a question. Now, when we ask about the song, from what vantage point are we asking? Because me personally, I thought the song itself was trash. I understand
lyrically,
visually, I understood what was trying to be conveyed, but so from what vantage point are we measuring that on? Or
so I guess I'll talk about it because one, I think women and men hear the song differently. That's the first thing that I definitely I think that women and men hear the song differently. If you're a hip hop fan, like this ain't your boom bap. This ain't the one for you. This ain't the one where you're like, yo, let's think about the greats of the history of rap. Like MC Light's not hopping on this track, and I didn't expect. But again, I didn't expect that.
What I will say is jumping on the track at this point.
No, we don't want MC Light. Even though MC Light's kind of fine still. She's still kind of fine.
Yeah, still. I just don't
always. But lyrically, I thought lyrically Cardi B wasn't what I've heard her be lyrically. Lyrically, Cardi B's a much better rapper than she showed in that song. And that's sort of what came out to me. But I think that I also looked at it from the standpoint of she knew Meg was going to come in and rap fast. So she was like, okay, well, I'm going to just rap slow and be as nasty as I can possibly be. And she achieved both goals. She rapped slow and
it was a manual. So
the dangly thing.
That's the reason why. It was a manual. You understand? And so there are two different readers. You got fast readers and there's slow readers.
Uh-huh.
Some that are, a little slow at comprehension. I think that Cardi B came in and was like, so for all you slow learners, let me break this down for you. This is what we need for you guys to do in the bedroom. And then May came in later on like, all right, so for all you speed readers, let me just go ahead and let me do that.
Let me let you know what time it is.
Right.
Let me let you know what time it is. Yeah, I heard Joe Budden say Meg Thee Stallion raps like she never missed a D appointment.
Look, man, hey, all I'm gonna say is I got a lot of homegirls, and they come in my inbox all the time. And this might surprise you, but a lot of women come and ask me things, advice about how men think about stuff. And they're like, Sean, why does this girl have this horrible reputation, but she got a wedding ring and I don't got a wedding ring? You need to listen to WAP.
He says she don't cook, she don't clean.
Because I'm telling you, man, I told my homegirl, I said, it's certain things. Most men, and I'll even go to my own father. My father had mistresses, and I knew my father's mistresses.
Don't bring daddy.
And I never told
we talk about fathers on the show, sis.
But I never told my mom, my stepmom, but I always knew what my dad had going on. And he would explain to me, each one of his mistresses had a different skill set.
My God.
Some might have something
like
in the bedroom.
Avengers.
Some might
Rez,
have
don't co-sign on that
or whatever. But it's just who'll be winning because they do stuff that the Mother Teresa type chicks ain't gonna do. That's just what it is, man.
Hey,
Byron,
Rez,
that's me.
real quick.
Yeah, Byron, go ahead.
Real quick.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we're spending time talking about the lyrical validity of the song. All right. You think it's trash. You think it's hot. That's not what the main conversation was about. All right. Everybody has their favorite songs or their not favorite songs. I think the main thing about this song, and I think Sister Sharea hit on it too, is a lot of people are talking about, oh, well, what if the young kids are listening to this? And that's the part I wanted to hit on. When people are talking about, oh, well, young girl empowerment or young women empowerment. First of all, if I recall correctly, you as a parent have the power to restrict your child from seeing or hearing certain content. Now, whether or not they see that when they go to school or go with their friends, you have no control over that. But you do have control of the boundaries you set for your children. I have a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, and they're both boys, and they have no idea what's going on because I don't allow them to see what's going on. And the piece I wanted to hit on was we're criticizing Cardi B and Meg for doing what we feel is uncomfortable, but as artists, they are well within their rights to do whatever they want to do. You as a parent have to do what you need to do to make sure that whatever boundaries you set up are respected, and if you want them to know about it, they know about it. If you don't want them to know about it, you don't know about it. But we can't keep blaming artists for putting out content and saying, oh, you're ruining these children.
Yeah. And
I know, Byron. Byron, back in 96, 97, you went on Playboy channel trying to look through the scramble to see what the...
But that's what hey, that's what I'm saying.
That's
what I'm saying. All the soft stuff that came on, like Showtime and Cinemax, man.
You had to work. You had to work to get to it. But I wanted to make a point real quick. I wanted to make a point real quick. I see Savage had a point. So like I wanted to say this though. My issue with the song is that it goes back to one of my long held viewpoints. And don't cancel me. But to me, women and sex are like dudes with like NBA 2K and Madden football. All of them think that they're really good at it.
Wow. No comment.
And most of them,
so happy you brought that up.
And most of them are not what they are advertising.
I'm glad you said it.
I'm glad you said it, Rez.
I'm just saying.
But which one of y'all want to talk about that?
No, but what I'm saying is,
I'm here to talk about it.
Sis, I see you, sis.
I ain't touching that one, Ray. You on your own.
It's the fact that but it's seriously seriously, you will never hear a young lady say that. Yeah, I'm all right, I'm decent. Like all of them, oh, I got fire. Like
savage.
Yeah.
Stop
I
playing.
got that fire. Let me tell
Anyway.
you why that
All
is.
right,
Go ahead,
but,
sis. Go ahead.
but,
Let me tell you why that is. The
Let's go, Sabo.
conversation.
but
of
also though,
sex-
but
Hold on.
oh, go ahead. I won't cut you off. Go ahead.
Sis, and then Sterling, and then we'll.
the conversation of sex for women and majority of the households has always been taboo. We'll talk to our boys about it because that's what they're supposed to do, but we are not to talk about it. So we have no training manual. We have there's absolutely nothing for us to be able to refer back to get us ready, get us prepared for these encounters. So when the only experience we have is through the experience that we are currently having.
True.
And not that many people will come out and say, okay, you aren't doing that right. Let me show you how.
True. True, sis.
So
You better
unless
speak.
we have, a partner willing to kind of train us through the experience as opposed of using us for their own personal experience, how would we know? And then we have, these other form of women, of course, that's just like, I do everything. And they and then they come out, with the Cardi B record.
They think they all Madden.
Whatnot. The majority of the women in households is like,
all Madden.
I'm kind of happy she said it, at the same time. I want to know how to do certain things. We got Kama Sutra books, but what the hell could you possibly learn from reading a book?
No, I think you're absolutely right, sis. Like they're like
Sex
the
is
good
a
girl.
hands-on thing, you got to know.
But like the whole good girl. So we're actually getting on a really good topic right now. So when you think about the idea of like the idea of the good girl, right? So we talk about like like the good girl, the one that quote unquote you want to marry. You don't want her to have X amount of experience because that means that she belongs to the streets.
Exactly.
Right? These are the terms that we use. She belongs to the streets. She ain't for us. She for them. So like, but that's the one you have fun with. Well, those are usually the ones.
What about dudes? What about dudes who've been out here and they body count is stupid?
Cook.
You know what I'm saying? But it's viewed two different ways. If a woman has, she done been with this many dudes, it's I can't have her as a wife. But every dude who done knocked down 50 and 100 girls is like, I'll still be a good husband because I can lay the wood. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So just two things. Like, so ReZsaun, you said that a lot of women think that they're good at it and they're not.
Yes, I'm talking about this song. No, we know the situation with dudes. Like dudes,
but how many dudes be like, yeah, bro, I don't be doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm alright.
But women tell them. No, see, the difference is. I know what you're saying. The difference is the accountability piece. Because if a dude's whack, he knows. He may not tell you that he knows.
He ain't gonna say that.
No.
Listen, he may know he's whack, but he's not gonna tell his homeboys, man, bro, I ain't know what I was doing.
But that's not how it's measured for men.
I handle that.
But that's not how it's measured for men. What's measured for men is the quantity. Is what's measured for men. For women, what's measured is quality. How good can she slob a knob? How good, how long can she stay on her knees? How y'all measure quality and product. But for y'all sit around and be like, yeah, I had all them. I done been with 20, 30, 40, 50 different years. You know how many
Rather I was good at it or not.
In college,
right.
You know how many? Like, that's what's measured. If I said I was with 50 niggas in college, y'all would think I was garbage right off the bat. I don't give a damn how many Cardi B lyrics I can recite. You still gonna look at me as very low quality as a woman. So we have to approach this thing completely different from one end to the other.
And another thing too, that I realized is that a lot of times men have conversations with men about sex, and women have conversations with women about sex, but rarely do men and women talk about it. You get what I'm saying? Like, because if that was the case, then people wouldn't be offended by it. Some people wouldn't be offended by this because that's what women are saying in this thing, man. Like, this is what I like.
Exactly.
I have talked to women who have been like, yeah, these dudes don't know what they doing. They think they're doing something and they ain't doing nothing. A lot. Not even I ain't talking about one or two.
Is that why you're supposed to communicate though?
But that's
why you're supposed to communicate.
But yeah, no, Sean, you're right.
You're supposed to. You're supposed to communicate. But
man, but before I ever sleep with a woman, I always have the sex conversation. Because one thing that I learned is that not every woman likes the same stuff. I've met a woman that didn't like you to go down on her. which I was completely cool with that.
Oh, very cool.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, okay, cool. But you know, most women like you to go down on them. But I know one girl that likes you to lick around her entire, you know, lip area. I know one. I know another. She just likes you to suck on her clitoris. I didn't do this stuff, but I know somebody who did it. I know somebody who did it every time. But I'm just saying, you got to have these conversations before the sex happens.
So like, you gotta know how to work that anatomy. You get what I'm saying? Like,
no, it's different.
No, not working the anatomy, because everybody's anatomy ain't the same. You got to have the conversation with this woman about what she likes and what the last man failed at. They'll be. When I deal with a woman,
Michael, come back.
I don't always start out.
Yeah, please
with
tell Michael to come back in.
Come back in.
Most that I deal with, they're like my homegirl. A woman's gonna be more honest when she's just your homegirl.
Yeah,
she's gonna be more honest. So have that conversation before y'all even start talking about the sexual stuff, because you already know when a woman's interested in you. That might be your homegirl, but you already know she want more. So start having a conversation now, because it's gonna happen inevitably. So, do you like your clitoris sucked or not? Just ask the question.
But knowing that somebody likes it don't mean that you're gonna do it right when it's time. We don't use sex.
When I do it wrong,
is what I'm
when
saying.
I do it wrong, let me know. Hey, you did this wrong. I'm not afraid to be critiqued when I suck.
Nobody's gonna be comfortable in the, well, I ain't gonna say nobody, because I do know some people that are.
Wait, hold. Hey, can I jump in real quick?
Go ahead, B.
Hold on. Before you do that, Byron. I didn't do none of this stuff. It was my boy. He did that. It was my boy.
Hey, he had to put that disclaimer out there. Hey, listen.
Hold on. Whoa. That was his boy? That was his friend?
My homeboy told me that.
Homeboy.
Asking for a friend, not him.
Hey, but listen, it's not as difficult as we're making it out to be to have a conversation about preference. It's really not. Like, it's really not. But that's the thing though. If you keep dipping in to different men or different women and you don't ever take that time out, then yeah, to you it's gonna seem difficult. But if you find that person that you genuinely care about and want to spend time with outside of sex, it's not going to be that difficult to have a conversation.
Yes.
See, we're stuck in this mindset to where I'm attracted to somebody physically, so I'm a bing bang boom, do my thing, and I'm gonna get out of here. And we do that so many times where we start thinking, oh well, if they like it this way or that way, that ain't really my responsibility because I'm in it to win it, and then I'm gone. But I can have a conversation with my wife about things that she wants, that she's thinking about, and it's like it's cool. You know what I'm saying? But that's the thing though. When Cardi B made this song, people think Cardi B talking about a bunch of different dudes. Cardi B talking about her husband.
She's talking about her husband.
So she's talking about everything that she's doing with her husband. So why is it such a big? She was kind
of saying that in the last album too, though. She didn't have a husband, so I don't.
Well, we know what he did.
And Juan and go.
So he did that because she wasn't doing that stuff yet.
It's a difference when you just having sex for yourself, as opposed to when you having sex.
Come on,
and you act like it's, you know what I'm saying. This is it's an act, bro. Like it's a spiritual thing, man. You know
Mike, is Mike in here?
Mike.
Hold on. I'm just coming to bump her off, or I'm just actually want. You know, I want both to experience it. You know what I'm saying?
So pause. Let's pause real quick. Where's Sharea? Where'd she go? She's still in here. Oh, she just went black.
I'm here.
Quick.
I'm trying to charge my phone and do this
at
the same time.
So listen, this conversation. So this segment started. I can't remember what time this segment was supposed to be over, but I'm gonna go ahead and make an executive order, and I'm gonna extend this segment because this wasn't even a topic, but I'm so glad that we got here. So we're gonna roll. We're gonna roll with this one. All right. So one.
Hold on.
Cardi, so for the topic now, to the point that Sean made earlier about the fact that, you know, all the women that he didn't cheat on were doing all these things that Cardi was doing. It's a known fact that Cardi was cheated on.
Very known fact.
Despite the fact that she was doing these things for her pre him being her husband. So I'm pretty sure she didn't decide to start doing these things once they got married. So I think to send that as the message as to, because I do these things is why I got married, despite the fact that I don't cook, I don't clean, but this is how I got this ring. I think that's a bad message to send.
Hey, whoa, hey, bro. She said she don't cook, she don't clean. Them chicks who do that shit, they cook and clean too. But
but that's my point.
You gotta also keep in mind her husband is an international superstar as well.
True.
So it is common probably for him to find women that do those type of things. For me or anybody on this panel, it is not as common to find women that do those type of things. Like I tell my homegirl all the time. Well, when they ask me, I tell them 80% of women don't know how to suck a dick. But I tell them all the time.
There it is. Just got real.
Here we go.
I'm just saying 80% don't know how to suck. Only 20% of the women that I have ever had a sexual encounter with knew how to suck a dick. Seriously.
My girl watching.
Hold up.
The demon hour?
Demon hour, man.
It's not me.
Told you.
Yo,
This goddamn RAD ReZsaun after dark.
It's not me. It's this. It's him. It's him. It's not me. He makes me say things that I don't want to say. I didn't want to say that.
Last time, Sean pulled out all the guns in his house.
Hey, listen, I got a question.
I didn't do anything. It was
go ahead, Charvis. Go ahead, Charvis.
He did it.
So I got a question, fellas, and she's still with us.
I'm still
Ray?
here.
No, she's still here.
Okay.
She just.
So I have a question. Does body counts even matter? Like, do you have those conversations these days? Does that matter?
If I can't go into Walmart, if I can't go into Walmart with you, without somebody knowing you, yeah, that body count matter. That's horrible. That's horrible. If I invite you to come to my barber shop while I'm getting my hair cut and you refuse to come to my barber shop, that's an indicator. You know, you got to ask them things, man. Nobody wants somebody that everybody's done had. That's just what it is. I'm sorry. Y'all call it double standards all you want, but I don't want somebody that my homeboys off Liberty Hill can tell me about. I don't want you if somebody who I know for 20 years can tell me about that tramp stamp on the small of your spine. I don't
But that's
want
gonna
you.
be the one that's gonna do all of the stuff that you want done.
I didn't say I was gonna marry that motherfucker.
Come on, man.
I said I like that shit. I ain't said never marry.
Oh, now I gotta mute you. Hold on, let me mute you real quick, Sean. Give me 1 second. I got you. Sharea, what was you?
I'd be so comfortable taking down all of the chicks that can do it, and when it come time to be married, now you want the good girl.
Yeah.
But
no,
then
and
you
I
gotta
think
mix it
that's a
with
good
the
point,
fact that
sis.
she don't do none of the things that your previous conquests have done. Like, yeah, you.
Because then, but sis, I think, and I want to get to Michael because I know he came in, and I'm so glad that he came back in because Mike was lighting it up. Mike was lighting it up in the comment section. Mike has been lighting it up in the comment section. But I want to go to a point that Sterling and Byron were both making about the fact that you have to, if this is an actual relationship, and my understanding about is that when we're talking about the whole quote unquote women's empowerment thing and people not knowing how to properly please their mate, if that is somebody that you plan on investing in long term, one of those investments is that conversation that, hey babe, I like this. Hey babe, I like that. Hey babe, I don't like this. I also want to say that it is important that you know your partner's body. Like some women don't like rough sex. Some women really, really do. You got to find out who the person is that you're dating. But the simple premise, my grandma used to have this thing in her kitchen, and it said, "Good kissing don't last, good cooking do." So that's my answer to that. I don't know if I don't cook, I don't clean. Let me show you how I got this ring, kind of thing. That doesn't last a long time because that stuff fades over time. After some point, like you've seen all the tricks she got. You've seen all of them, every single one. You've seen them 10 times. You've seen them 20 times. You've seen them 100 times. You've seen them thousands of times. At some point, there's got to be something else that I'm invested in this relationship beyond WAP.
Sex is old.
Michael.
Hey, so for me, you can be the good girl, but you have got to be open to the idea of being the bad girl. You know what I'm talking about? Like you can be the cooking and the cleaning, but if I say, man, we need to have sex outside on the way back from Walmart, you need to be like, yeah, let's do that. You know what I'm saying? Even if you ain't never done it. Like I promise you, like if you don't have bad girl tendencies for me, you only gonna get so far. You may get if I can play this like 2K, you may get to the second quarter. But if you ain't got bad girl tendencies, you're not gonna reach the fourth for me. That's only gonna
So
go
you
for
like
so
lady in the street, freak in the sheet?
I like lady in the streets, freak in the sheets in the backyard, and the sheets we could be driving down 26. Like for me, I'm 35. I'm gonna get that out there now, right? So and then I was in the military, right? So I was overseas. So for me to settle down with the woman, you got to be able to do more than just stimulate my mind. You know what I'm saying? You got to be able to do more as far as just cooking and cleaning. I'm a man. I can cook. I can clean. I can take care of the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, what can you do outside of that? What are you willing to learn outside of that? And if you're not willing to take that step, then we only gonna go so far.
Well, like ReZsaun was saying, man, eventually the sex gets old. Because I remember one time I was reading my girlfriend diary while she was at work, and I hadn't touched her. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. But anyway, I was reading her diary while she was at work, and she said she was complaining in the diary, I hadn't touched her in a month. Now, for maybe about 2 years straight, we had sex every day. So it eventually got old. But I hadn't touched her in a month, but she cooked every day. So I really didn't need the sex anymore because I was used to it, but I wasn't used to the food. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, at the end of the day, no matter how good the sex is,
There's so many questions. So first, can I ask a quick question? What led up to you going through the diary? Like, were you bored that day, or was it?
Yeah, I didn't have shit to do, and I knew where it was. She didn't know I knew where it was, but you know what I'm saying? I'm like, well, let me see what she be, because she used to write in it every day. You know, she used to go off in her little space and write in it. So shit, one day I was like, man, I ain't got shit to do. I wonder what she puts in there. You know what I'm saying? So I read it, and she really didn't say nothing bad. She just talked about stuff from her childhood and stuff, and she just put in there that Juan hasn't touched me in a month. And so I'm sitting there like, damn, yeah, it's been a month. So, you know, I made sure I did something that day. But, I mean, it goes back to ReZsaun's point because eventually, no matter how good your woman is in bed, you get used to it. You're going to get used to it, especially if you was doing it every day like we was. But I never got used to that food. She made the bomb-ass macaroni and cheese.
You ain't never got used to food.
You know, you got to eat every day, but you don't got to have sex every day.
I can't.
Well,
I can't see sex getting old. I just can't see it.
It
happening.
doesn't. It doesn't.
It's impossible.
I don't think
sex the same way over and over again does get old.
Having sex the same
but
way.
That's the thing. But that's why you have the conversations.
That's why you have
But
conversations.
we already
Correct.
know that you want to do it on the side of 26, coming home from wherever you coming home from.
Hey,
we got you.
Right. Hey, Mike want to get it on the back of the Target parking lot.
Like
what? It's just
like,
Walmart.
yo,
It's
you
a
see that
regular
trash
Walmart
can?
run. Turn him on.
Mike got that Bang Bros like.
You
see that trash can over
Bang
there?
Bros.
Make it happen. I want to recreate the scene from Jason's lyric.
In the field.
Better together.
Better together. Hey, so I think we just uncovered a lot there. That was a really good segment. Y'all are hysterical. Once again, demon time came through. So I wanted to transition to a topic that I'm just not going to. I'm not going to do that because we'll save it for another time. So what I want to do is I want to give you guys an opportunity to I just want to give you guys an opportunity to plug anything you have coming up, anything that we can support. If you're not talking, mute yourself because somebody's clicking. I don't know who it is. But I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to think, and then I'm gonna close the show. So thank y'all. This has been dope, man. This has been a really dope segment. Sean, I'm start with you, bro.
I just muted myself. Read your girlfriend's diary. That's all. You gotta know what's in her mind sometimes. No, I'm just playing, man. Honestly, man,
I've done that once and it broke my heart.
Stop being so sensitive about everything. Stop being so sensitive about everything, because really, man, there are things that are just real life. And really, you know, we live in a society today where everybody just gets sensitive and butthurt about every damn thing. But while we're sitting here talking about Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion, pornography is $1 billion industry. Everybody talks about Pornhub and X videos and Spank Bang and all of these things that I never go to, but that I hear of, right? But it's also is
the way you say things, bro.
But I'm just saying. But seriously though, the pornographic industry is so powerful.
It is, yeah.
And we say we hate human trafficking, but because we go to those websites, human trafficking happens. And I read something the other day that really disturbed me, man. It said it was an activist group out of Houston, Texas. And they said, what's the youngest victim of a sex crime that you have ever saved? And it said the youngest victim we ever saved had sex with over 20 men that day. And her entire internal structure had to be surgically repaired. She was 2 years old.
Mm.
Now, you remember those guns that I pulled out on your last segment?
I remember them.
If I ever heard of a man having sex with a 2-year-old child, ReZsaun, I would pull out one of those firearms and kill him on camera, and I would gladly do life in prison.
Absolutely.
Gladly.
Absolutely.
So, going back to the original topic. I'm sorry, man. Give me a second. That brought back a. It's just fucked up that grown ass men would do. We got to stop being so sensitive, because reality is reality. Stop being so self-righteous. You like your dick sucked. You like your click sucked. So if somebody put in a song, shut up about it. That's all. And stop touching kids. Stop touching kids.
Yeah. Where's my applause?
That part.
Yeah.
That part.
I don't know how to transition out of that. So I'm gonna just say Byron.
Can I first say, Rez, can you put me on whatever segment Sean is on?
Got you.
I need to be on every episode with him. Bring Mike Better on. We gotta just recreate this whole thing. But check out so I don't have anything personally, but I want y'all to check out two of my brothers, Shane and my brother John. They have a podcast called Southern Comfort. It's available on Apple Music or Apple Podcast. They talk about pop culture, music, current events. So make sure you go check out Southern Comfort. It's on all platforms. So just, peep them. They got some good stuff going on.
Yeah. Word. Thank you, bro. Thank you. And where can they support your Gear Up? Where can they find out more about Gear Up? How can they support it?
Yeah, so Gear Up, it's Midlands Gear Up. Midlands Gear Up is on Facebook, Midlands Gear Up is on Twitter, and Midlands Gear Up is on Instagram. This is the first time that Gear Up from high school is transitioning with students from graduation, from high school graduation to post-secondary education, workforce, or military. So make sure you follow social media. We have a lot of resources where we get to these kids, and it's very critical that we have all the support we can get, because these kids are going through. I didn't go through 17 years old. When I graduated from high school, I went straight to college. These kids have been working their behinds off to get to school, and now like Clemson University is completely virtual, and a lot of these kids are heartbroken because they can't experience school the way they wanted to. So make sure you follow Midlands Gear Up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We're going to be putting out different posts on how people can support, how you can come in and help mentor. We're starting a mentoring program. So just be on the lookout. But Midlands Gear Up here in Columbia, South Carolina, make sure you tap in.
Yeah, appreciate that. Charvis.
Hey, Charvis Wood. if you're looking to potentially help our youth, you can check us out at Distinguished Gentlemen's Club. Uh, Also, if you're looking for a mobile food vendor or whatnot, you can check me out online, Boss Dogs. That's BOSSDOGZ.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Check
sir.
us out.
Sterling,
Give us a shot.
he's a savage.
No, I don't have anything personally right now to put out there to support, but I appreciate you, ReZsaun, for having me on the show. And, you know what I'm saying, it was really good talking to all y'all, hearing y'all perspective. And just want to say, you know what I mean, to everybody out here, like, just learn yourself first. You know what I mean? Learn who you are as a person. You know what I mean? And then that'll teach you, you know what I'm saying, which way you need to go and how you can formulate your opinions and, you know what I mean, actually spread knowledge as opposed to just, you know, spewing rhetoric. So
Yeah. Thank you, sis.
Can you hear me? Because I had to unmute myself.
Yep, we hear you now. Yep.
Yes. Okay, cool. So prior to me telling you what anything that I have going on, I want to end the ladies portion of the segment by saying, please read the manual of WAP. And you know, listen, continue to have conversations with you guys and maybe some of your girlfriends or whatever, so that you can provide for us the male manual of BAD, which stands for badass dick. I wasn't sure if I could, but I could say that. But I need you to understand that as adults, these manuals are necessary so that we can know what it is that a woman actually likes, what it is that your man actually likes. And for any kid that could possibly be on this segment, we
really
apologize for having adult
so
talk.
sorry.
But if you're listening, you're only supposed to do these things when you get married, okay? And anyway.
Thank you, sis. Thank you for that disclaimer, sis. I appreciate it.
Reserve all that for when you get married. But if me personally, I'm in the process of completing my 501c3 process for my nonprofit organization, the Phoenix Project, which helps people transition from all kinds of situations. People, you know what I'm saying, trying to snap back from losing everything in a fire, things of that nature. So, you know, that's what we got going.
All right. That's what she got. Mike.
Yeah, I got some quick things. Of course, as I said the last segment, I just got the LLC and the EIN for my brand. That's better said than sorry. I'll be coming out with my hats, my shirts, and I'm working with a couple factories for my sneaker. Moving on to a bigger topic, of course, as ReZsaun already knows, I am the chairman for the Criminal Justice Reform for the City of Charleston. That got named. We'll be meeting the end of the month in regards to different plans that we're going to be working with. With that being said, a bigger and more serious message here is that we have to, as a culture and as human beings, to be quite honest, we have to stop taking one tragedy and denouncing other tragedies. So, of course, we all know about the 5-year-old, I'm going to say Cannon, that was murdered by, was it Desmond Sedmons or Darius Sedmons? That is a tragedy, right? But that is not to take away from what blacks and browns are experiencing in regards to the injustice. So as being the murderer of that 5-year-old, he's in jail. Meanwhile, Breonna Taylor's killers are still out free. So justice for Breonna Taylor. So let's not, of course, forget about the big picture here, and not let little things, and not to say that murder is a little thing, but not let little things from people that don't care about the movement or what we're trying to formulate distract us from the overall picture where we need to be. So that's it.
Yo, bodied it.
Well said, bro.
Bodied
well
it.
Said.
We touched on so many topics tonight, man. There was so much that we talked about tonight. We talked about everything from we talked about, you know, music. We talked about politics. We talked about dating. We've talked about, you know, sex, and we've talked about so many things that, again, I want to go back to the purpose of this show is to create a platform to talk about things that pertain to black men that are not often spoken about by black men. I think we've done that tonight. We've shown a vast array of backgrounds. We've had politicians on the show. We've had fashion designers on the show. We have community leaders on the show. We have like teachers, educators. We've had so many different people. And what I want people to understand, if they don't walk away from this with any other idea, it's that We Black people are so much more than people will give us credit for being. We as Black people have so much more to contribute to thought and so much more to contribute to conversations than we are quote unquote allowed to. When that is the case that we know, we must create the spaces that we want to see. And sometimes that means we sit and we talk about ratchet. Yeah, that's a part of being Black in America. That's a part of it. We can't abandon that because it's something uncomfortable or something that we don't think is a great part of it. It's a part of it. We have to talk about crime in our neighborhoods. We have to talk about that. We have to talk about sexual gratification within our relationships. We have to talk about that if we're going to talk about maintaining the Black family. We got to talk about these things. We have to talk about our feelings on interracial dating. We have to talk about that. We have to talk about what's going on with presidential and local elections. We have to talk about what's going on with Black Lives Matter. We have to talk about what's going on in the porn industry and with sex trafficking. I think that was a great point that Sean made about the fact that though pornography is probably, I think that like the percentage is like pornography is half the internet. Pornography can't be half the internet, and we say we're against sex trafficking. It's really a hard conversation to have, and it's really shaped the way that I view the porn industry in a much different way when I started thinking about it from that standpoint. So I wanted to say all that to say that my brothers, my sisters, I love y'all. I love what y'all bring to the table. I love the difference of opinion that we bring, but most of all, I love the fact that we come to this platform and we have meaningful discussions in respectful ways, and we disagree without being disagreeable. We're not yelling and screaming at each other. We're not calling each other all kind of names. And even if a kid may have watched this and heard, bad words, they didn't hear us using bad words to tear each other down. That's just the words that we use to describe the things that we were talking about, and that's okay because that's a part of communication. I want to thank everybody who watched today. Y'all didn't have to. There's a million things I say all the time. There's a million things you can be watching on the internet. Every time I turn on my computer, there's 87,000 people going live, and y'all took the time out to watch this, and that means something to me. So please don't think that I take it lightly or that I just take your participation in this for granted. This means something to me. This means something to me. These brothers, these sisters mean something to me. So I want to thank y'all for being here. I love y'all. I respect y'all. Y'all know if y'all need me, you got me. It's nothing. If you're watching, if you need me, you got me. It's nothing. Local Celebrity Spotlight every Wednesday night from 7 to 8 p.m. Next week, I am interviewing. Give me 1 second. La 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 la. I'm gonna stop lying. Sorry, I'm jealous. Next week, I have Carolyn Blake. Carolyn Blake is coming on to talk about her organization, Impacted But Not Imprisoned. It's a domestic violence prevention group that's coming on to talk about it. Another Black woman in the community doing great things. We got to provide these platforms, y'all. If you are doing something in the community that you would like to have a light shined on, please reach out to me on my website. That's www.realtalkwithreZsaun.com so we can get you scheduled. If you want me to come out and speak at or host your event in a non-COVID environment, because we don't know when we're ever getting back to regular life, but if you do, www.realtalkwithreZsaun.com. I have hosted a few Zoom things, so I don't mind doing that at all. Please rate this show. If you liked it, give me some hearts or likes or whatever it is that people ask for on these videos. Give me those. Those would be appreciated. If you liked it, give me some comments. What was your top comment? What was the thing that we talked about? I saw a comment that, that Marifa wanted to hear more from the sister. I agree. We got to make sure that we're providing that platform. My next topic are maybe all women. I don't know. I think that's something I've been thinking about because of the fact that I want to make sure that we're giving the ladies a platform as well to be able to speak and have their voices heard on these topics. Yeah, rate the show. Give me a 5-star review on the podcast. This show and all can be found on anywhere you can find podcasts. So Apple, Google, Spotify, and I'm working to get on Pandora. So anywhere you can find Spotify, find podcasts, you can find mine. Check it out. Let me know what you think and share it with a friend. Let somebody know there's some dope people doing dope things, and ReZsaun is one of them. With that being said, God is everything. God is everything. God is everything. And without him, we are nothing. So never forget where your help comes from. And if a man doesn't stand for something, he's bound to fall for anything. Now that is real talk. I will see y'all next time. Peace.